this here. Really nice move. Blake Delaney had to move out of the way.
Good evening, sim racing fans, and welcome to your Tuesday night broadcast here on SRW TV. Tonight is the simrigs.com V8 Supercars Amateur Series. We are here at Circuit of the Americas for the Grand Prix layout for round 6. Thanks to Warren and Brown Tools. As always, it is Nathan ShiBBy Howard. That is me. And next to me, Thomas Preech. Riley, welcome back to the comms box, mate.
Thank you very much, ShiBBy. Good evening, everyone. It's good to be back. Jumping stateside this week. So very excited for what happens coming up in the next, 2.5 hours or so?
Oh, yes, indeed. It is a standard race format tonight. So our feature race will be 60 minutes of COTA. Before that, we will have a top 10 shootout that is worked out by our qualifying session, 25 minutes of that. And the top 10 will go through to our top 10 shootout, mate. I love a good top 10 shootout, especially I think this track is going to be phenomenal for it.
Yeah, absolutely. The 20 turn, 5.41 kilometre Grand Prix layout here at Circuit of the Americas, characterised by the very steep uphill braking zone into turn 1, and then through a Maggots and Beckett's style-esque, ever tightening S's all the way down, and then we get to turn 11, the hardest braking zone on the track, and then leading up to an extremely long back straight into another hard braking zone at turn 12, and then one of the most exciting corners I think we'll see tonight is turns 16, 17 and 18, which is sort of a triple apex corner that the designer of the circuit, Herman Tilke, is known for by turn 7 at Turkey. But a very, very tight, wide open track with single line through that first and second sectors this evening.
Mate, you and your track knowledge is absolutely phenomenal. I'm glad you're on board with me. I'm just here to sound really excited when racing happens, so good to have you on board again, Preech. While we've got a bit of time, I suppose we should go through the standings as well. Let's get that up on screen for you now. This is the V8 Supercars simrigs.com AM series at the moment. Joe Mahoney is still leading the charge for Race on Oz with 620 points, but look how close those points are, chasing him down. Tim Nichols in Quantum Pecky's Performance Racing, that is one heck of a tongue twister, say it 3 times, I dare you, only 9 points behind him. Mr. Bradley Wall still holding third place for Team SRW Motorsports with 650 points, only 70 points behind. There is 150 points up for the grabs for a win tonight. So anyone from 7th place right up to first could easily jump into first place. So if Mr. Cowan manages a first place finish tonight, he could launch himself to the top of the table in one race.
Yeah, of course. You mentioning those points caps. The points layout is kind of interesting in the sense it's 150 points for first, 145 for second, so on and so forth. All positions are only gapped by 5 points. So it keeps everyone in the long run. I think Cowie will be hoping for the 6 in front of him to have a nightmare tonight for him to jump up to the front tonight. But he's got a couple of rounds still to go. What have we got? Another 5 rounds after this one to surge forward in the championship. He'll be hoping to capitalise on what he's been able to do in the last couple of weeks. Daytona was a little bit unfortunate for him, but last week I believe he managed to get back on the podium, or was very close to, at Suzuka. So he will be hoping to surge his way forward. Looking at the timing chart, I'm looking at some of the names that are further down in the order. Ty Delaney has only done 1 round, but he's down in 25th position. I don't see him on our timing board at the moment being in the session.
No,
I think he's
been focusing on the Pro-Am series on the Sunday night, mate, and he's actually third in the championship for the Pro-Ams right now.
Gee whiz.
Yeah.
Gee whiz. That's very impressive. So he should keep going on those Pro-Ams list. Looking a little bit further afield, Jake Edwards is maybe one that I'd be expecting to see further up. We haven't seen much of him over the last couple of weeks. And yeah, some other names are further down, sort of outside the top 10 that you'd be expecting to make their way forward over the next couple of weeks. Jace Douglas for LMR Esports in the 88 machine. He'll be hoping to jump up a couple of spots tonight. He's 353 points off the lead.
Yes, as you said, mate, the points very easy to grab points in the long run. Especially if the front runners have a bit of a rough night. It's quite easy for these guys to sort of squeeze their way up. I'm actually wondering if these points are a little bit off, because I thought Stefan McCartan had made it onto a podium. We will have to double check that, but I do believe that this is the standings as they are.
We'll do that during the week and make sure that when it comes to next week, you've got all the information you need. Looking back at the history of COTA, it's only been around for, going on 10 or so years now. Supercars made their one and only trip stateside back in 2014 with Car of the Future. They did like a 3-race or 4-race format over the weekend, but they did the West layout, which tonight we're doing the full GP, but the West layout cut from turn 6, which is sort of around where we are now with the overhead camera, and then cut across through a chicane that you could just see on the left-hand side there, and cut onto the back straight. Cars were jumping all over the place through there, but tonight we've got the entirety of the layout, including the run downhill here into through turn 10, and then onto the brakes into turn 11. For reference, I think supercars will probably take that about 40, 45, 50 k's an hour. F1 cars are probably more around 75, 80 kilometers an hour through that corner. And then, they hit 320, 330 on the back straight in F1. We're only probably topping out, given it's a higher aero circuit, given that first and second sector that we'll see tonight. You're probably only going to be looking about 260, 270.
Yeah, we saw 275 in the Pro-Am series on Sunday, so...
Were they here or were they...
Oh, no, sorry, that was a practice session I was in.
Practice session. So 275 through the speed trap for turn 12. So jumping into qualifying now, drivers are heading out on track, led by the Quantum Pecky's Performance Sim Racing team. A couple of iconic cars there. Bradley Wall and the Team SRW Motorsports green-eyed Mustang.
This is your Racecraft qualifying session, so huge shout out to Racecraft for getting on board. They also sponsor our pole position and fastest lap for us tonight on our simrigs.com V8 Supercars. Well, we've got a little bit of time. I'd like to say a massive thanks to simrigs.com for getting behind our V8 Supercars, both our AM and Pro-Am series, and of course Warren and Brown Tools for our round sponsor. They have been an absolute staple of sponsorship behind SRW TV and of course the league behind us. Also, honourable mentions definitely go to Grim Industries, the home of the V8 table, Toyo Sim, as well as temptingsweets.com.au. And the biggest shout out goes out to everybody out there watching our broadcast tonight. I can't thank you all enough for coming along and enjoying our broadcast and getting behind your teams and the drivers that you guys want to root on. So thank you so much. And of course, thanks to Preech for joining me again.
ShiBBy, it's an absolute honour. I should be saying thanks to you for all the work you do, hitting buttons, controlling cameras and whatnot. It's tireless work, that's for sure.
Sounds hard, doesn't it? Well, you make it sound hard.
we make it sound hard, but
Yeah,
you know.
pushing buttons. No, thanks, bud. There's a lot more buttons than what people realise.
And I'll just leave that. But
all right, so we are 2 minutes into qualifying. Everybody is still on out laps. We have had Aaron Leopard drop in. He has said, hi, guys. He's also mentioned that we are doing a great job, and he loves watching the coverage. So thank you so much for dropping in, Aaron. We appreciate all your support. Start getting through now. Who is first out on track? The triple three car.
No, the 88 car. Jason Douglas.
Jason Douglas is leading the field.
Yes, leading the chain. What we might do at some stage in the middle of qualifying, ShiBBy, is it'd be good to get an onboard lap from the driver's perspective, just to see, just so the viewers at home can see just what this track looks like. Of course, it is all painted on the outside of the track, but it's quite a grey tarmac that they've laid down for F1.
Oh,
you see,
that
Cowie,
was the terrible choice of car to get
that was not the best choice.
No, Cowie. I've already commentated curse, and I didn't even do anything.
Oh dear.
All right, pick another car. Let's go. Let's go number 17 as he comes back around.
He'll just be backing off to let Jace Douglas through, but we'll grab it at some stage in the session. We'll let cars set lap times first, and then we'll go from there.
Mr. Jamie Dyke dropping into the chat as well, saying he loves this track, mate. I am a huge fan of COTA as well, especially in the V8s. I think with how tricky the V8s already are to drive, this track just makes the racing 10 times better. Alright, still, I'm not showing the timing table or something. No, it's definitely there. Nobody's actually managed to...
Well, it is quite a long lap, probably around just over 2 minutes. Of course, this season, a lot of the theme for the tracks is the long tracks. So we're seeing some of the long road of all longer tracks on the iRacing platform. Jason Douglas just dropped in a benchmark of a 2 minute 9.9. We've been something 2 minute 9.59.
Jumps to the top. Scott Weston behind them, 2:11. Scotty Rattler Van Loon, 2:09. Rick Vigard to the top with a 2:09. This is going to be actually a really good battle, I think, to see who lands in the top 10 for the shootout.
Sneaky Rabbit in chat asking who is the best racer here. I think based on our points, it's pretty tight. But we were just highlighting before the points table, and leading at the moment is Joe Mahoney for Race on Oz. Tim Nicol, though, is probably one of our fastest drivers in qualifying trim. We've seen some incredible lap times from him over the journey so far on his run down through the S's here. I believe that's who we're looking at.
It is, mate. Yeah, we are on board with Tim Nicol at the moment. Just a little information. Sneaky Rabbit's actually my son, and I've been trying to get them involved with more of coming along and having a watch, because of course, them being my son, they've always been very interested in learning how to stream and do all that as well. So it's great to see him out there. We've also had Jeannie Furler drop in, and she's shouted out Tempting Sweets as well, saying don't forget to use the promo code SRW10 at checkout when placing your Tempting Sweets orders for a discount exclusive to Sim Racing World fans. And also, these lollies are the best. Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Head over to temptingsweets.com.au, use our promo code SRW10 at checkout, and get yourself a sweet, sweet discount.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, ShiBBy, but I heard on the grapevine that the best performing drivers, race winners and whatnot, they get a little package, don't they?
They do.
From Tempting Sweets.
Yes, so whoever comes first in the race and also our driver of the day, or if you want to call it the driver of the night, will get sent a little gift, a little package to say congratulations on your performance from temptingsweets.com.au. Fantastic. I could do with another package. I ate all mine already. They were so good.
I was looking in my bedroom today and I found that I've still got Easter eggs.
No, the Tempting Sweets lollies are much better than Easter eggs, mate. Much better. All right, I want to jump on board with someone. Everybody seems to be settling in, which is really good. Let's, Travis. 777.
Yeah. 777. On the run up now to turn 1. Does pull 6th gear. And then you're late on the brakes here because you can use the uphill nature of turn 1 to help the brakes.
We've done it again. He's watching the broadcast. Whoops. He heard his name.
51 race to go. He's just braking for turn 1. Let's let him get through it first, and then we'll jump on board with him as he comes through. Here he is.
And he's going to pull up. Is anybody going to let us get on board? Nobody wants us to get on board.
Rick Vigor.
He's just starting a lap. Right, we're going through. Rick, stay on track for us, please, mate.
Current provisional pole sitter doesn't pull 6th gear, which is interesting. After that, doesn't mean that he's going to bail out this lap. No. Third, just balancing on the throttle here. Running up now to turn 3. Using all the curb, turn 4. Getting the car slowed down ever so slightly. Down into 3rd gear. Holds it in 3rd gear to get through this double apex. Turn 6, now turn 7. Turn 8 now. Tightens on exit. Through to a quick little shift to the left for turn 9. That's where Sebastian Vettel had a massive suspension failure a couple of years ago in the Ferrari. Run down to the hardest braking zone at turn 11. Or to the slowest corner, I should say. Control the wheel spin, get the car out nicely. Listen to that V8 roar as he runs down this back straight. Got a slight little kink to the right. Jumps on the brakes. Nice and late. Uses all the entrance. He's in his 2nd gear, and he's run wide. So I think that will register as an off-track. And
tricky little corner there too.
Yeah.
Get the top speeds out of the way, but that was looking like a good lap. But you can definitely see just how tricky this track is, especially once you jump yourself into a V8 Supercar. No traction control, no ABS, and a very, very light throttle.
This is Joe Mahoney here, coming through turn 15. A difficult corner to get right because it's got a kink in the braking zone. So you sort of straight line across the curb. You make it more of a hairpin, but you sit further out. And can we just get through a lap?
Nobody wants us to watch them. They must be watching the broadcast. They hear their name and they get a little bit of stage fright, I think. But Troy Dooley, I don't think he gets any stage fright. I'm pretty sure.
And he's on a cool-down lap as it is.
Oh, my gosh. What is this, people? They've already set good times. Rick Vigor is still holding P1. Andrew Cowan actually just jumped into P7. So I'm sure he'll be wanting to go a bit quicker than that. Joe Mahoney is in provisional P2. Troy Dooley provisional P3. And they are all sitting on 209s, right down to Scotty Rattler Van Loon in at P5. Joshua Howard has also joined in. Another little fun fact, that's also my son.
I was about to say, why does Howard sound familiar?
Might be something to do with the whole Nathan ShiBBy Howard thing. So
quite possibly.
Great to have you in the out there watching tonight, boys. Thank you so much for the support. I hope you enjoy the racing tonight. It is going to be pretty awesome. Let's jump on board Mr. Bradley Wall of Team SAW Motorsports as he jumps into P8 for this racecraft qualifying session. Gosh, these cars sound phenomenal. Josh has also said every time you watch them, they go off track. Yes, yep. It's called the commentator's curse.
That middle sector between a little run down in turn 12 and then turn 13, that's going to be a spot where we see probably a few overtakes because of drivers who get a bit eager to get past down the straight, and then sort of a switchback opportunity through turns 12 and 13 through this long 16, 17, 18 triple apex corner now, run it out to the curb, run it back to the open up the corner, turn 19, turn 20 now. Important corner, you want to get the run all the way up the hill.
He's got a green, he's got a personal best. Oh, jumps into 6th with a 2:10.062. I reckon he's going to want to do that faster.
He's got 5/10 to figure up the front. So I'll be hoping to find a little bit more speed, get himself further up into, to really cement himself into the top 10 at the moment. There's a big gap between Cowie and Mark Peck of almost 9/10. So, whoa, that's a lot of curb.
Whoa, you got to watch those little orange jumps, as I like to call them. They're not much of a curb. They're more of a triangle sort of, if you've ever done any skateboarding, they're like a triangle style pyramid that you would use in skateboarding. Any little bit of a wheel over the top of those, and you are definitely getting some air off them, as we just saw there with Bradley Wall.
To go, he jumps up into the top 10 now, closes that gap slightly to Cowan. It's now down to about 6.5 tenths. So still a big gap existing in there, but the gap between the top 3 is only 7/100ths of a second. So very tight up the top end of town. Pull it up here. Yeah, clips the apex on the inside of turn 12. Running up to turn 13 now. This is where the third sector for Formula One will start. If you're not used to iRacing, some of the sectors are weirdly descript. There are 4 sectors on this racetrack, so think more like what MotoGP would use for you two-wheel enjoyers.
Pavlovich on some personal best, and I think it was enough to bring him up the table. Still sitting in 15th with a 2:12.140. Alan Hodgkinson also on a couple of personal bests, keeping an eye on him in the timing tower. Sitting in 17th now as Bradley Wall comes through. Not enough to go any better. Very clean lap though there. Alan Hodgkinson will be following him over the finish line as well, hoping to jump up, and he moves from 17th to 15th. That is a gain, definitely. Not sure it's going to be the gain he wanted. The sole crisscross driver. I don't see Stefan out there with him tonight.
Stefan sent a message in the open chat in Discord saying that he was unavailable tonight. Oh, there's all the curb.
Yeah, you can see just how tricky this little section is. And I think it was built for V8 Supercars in the thoughts when they made this. We can see those lovely little pyramids on each of those corners to stop drivers from taking advantage of cutting over corners. And they are quite dangerous ones. I think in some of the Formula One, they've actually seen cars completely in the air over those style corners.
Yeah, I think that's half the reason why they got rid of those in the Formula One layout, and they've put more of those sausage curbs up. They are policing more of track limits down Formula One in terms of using the white line to delineate the edge of the track. So drivers can't use all of the track without raising the eyes of the stewards. Of course, in iRacing, there is the incident point and off-track system. If you take too much curb, run 4 wheels off the paint off the black surface. Oh, and there we go. There's a round. That's picking up a bit too much throttle, being a bit eager as he comes through turn 8 there.
Brett Taylor we're on board with from Taylor Motorsports. And Petar Pavlovich. So it's a bit odd to not see him in that bright red KFC livery. But Century Motorsports have had to make the call, and with real life getting in the way, they've had to disband, and they're all going their own separate ways. But the boys will still be out there getting around and racing in different leagues, so it's still great to see Petar out there. And you know, I'm sort of happy he's not got KFC all over his car anymore, because I tell you what, it made me hungry every time I had to look at it.
I just had something pop up on my Facebook today that they're bringing back the mashies, the mashed potato balls.
Ooh.
Yes, I was salivating at the mouth when I heard that.
So you only go to KFC for the hot and spicy deep fried chicken and a zinger burger occasionally. It's the main thing I eat there. Because who wouldn't eat zinger burgers? Like, that's the thing. Yeah, mashies.
That's a very good point.
Good. Yeah. Oh. Now, why are we talking about food? don't do it to me. Josh, when does the race actually start, mate? We have about 7 minutes of qualifying left, and then there is a top 10 shootout. If you are all new to what a top 10 shootout is, we take our 10 best drivers from the racecraft qualifying session. We throw them all into a session on their own. They get one warm-up lap and one lap to set the fastest time possible. And our top 10 will battle it out to find out who takes pole position for tonight's race. And then the 60 minutes race will get underway after our top 10 shootout. Not too many changes on the time. Oh, Andrew Cowan! No way. When did that happen? When he... Right, we're getting... This is Cowan's 2:09 to take P1. We are going to get an actual onboard because Cowan was sitting 7th, out of nowhere jumped into first place. This is his fastest lap at the moment.
Neat through turn 1. Car rotated nicely through turn 2 now. Yep, car looks planted. Pulls 5th on the run into turn 3. Runs it up on the edge of that pyramid that ShiBBy's been talking about. Keeps car tucked in nicely through turn 6. Opens up for turn 8. Sorry, turn 9. Run down turn 10. Little kink. Car's a little skatey on the rears. Doesn't use anywhere near as much of the entrance for turn 11. It's such a wide track there. You can forego running all the way out to the curb on the right hand side as the corner opens up.
We have been on this replay. Scott Weston has now just jumped into 3rd place, provisional 3rd place, I should say.
I rotated nicely around turn 12 curb. Got it down onto the curb for the apex. Pulls first through turn 15. Just the car to rotate in such a corner that tightens up on the entry.
To be the bearer of bad news, but Joe Mahoney has just pipped Andrew Cowan for provisional pole. This is Cowan's best lap of the night so far.
Say it's very impressive that the only correction that I saw in terms of having to grab any opposite lock was on the run through turn 10 and turn 19. Just on the exit, just had to have a little bit of a correction. Just car started to over-rotate on him.
Ah, my boy. Sneaky Rabbits asks, if you get a rig, you can race. You don't even need a rig, mate. You just need a steering wheel and pedals. Hook it up to your laptop, bud, and a screen, and away you go. And then, of course, you can come along and have a race. Might need to do some practice through the officials first. Learn some racecraft through the rookies. And then definitely come along and have a race. I'm hoping to be racing next season, because we have released next season on a Thursday night. We are doing a TCR GR86 combined sprint series. So each race will be 3 races of 20 minutes, and it will be combined TCR and 86s.
That's a great idea.
Oh, mate, I'm honestly looking
It's a great way
forward
to boost, to make sure you've got really consistent grid sizes and lots of eager drivers.
I just got to convince the new producer we're bringing on that he definitely wants to do Thursdays. Oh, Nichols, big slide around. Still holding a personal sex. It still goes second place, provisional P2.
Oh, if he didn't have that little oversteer on the exit, he would have been so far ahead. He's only 300ths behind Joe Mahoney.
That was phenomenal. Big slide. He must have knew he was on a cracker lap and just thought, we'll put it on a bit of a show here. Slide the rear of the car out, and there we go. It takes provisional P2 with only 2 minutes left of the racecraft qualifying session. And then we will be heading through our top 10 shootout. I hope you are all excited to get underway. Mate, honestly, COTA and top 10 V8 Supercars. I don't think there's many tracks that could be better. You got a favourite? Yeah, you can think of one?
No.
Bathurst.
Yeah, okay. Top 10 is like a synonymous.
Yeah, that's true.
In my opinion, you can't do Bathurst without the top 10.
Yeah, Bathurst is a phenomenal track. Just the elevation changes, the different styles of corners across it. Yeah, I suppose.
The cutthroat nature.
Yeah.
Over the top of the mountain.
And also trying to dodge all the kangaroos and wombats and everything else that want to get involved in the race. We are coming to the end of this qualifying session. At the moment, Joe Mahoney does hold provisional P1, Tim Nichols second, Andrew Cowan third, Jason Douglas fourth, Scott Weston fifth, Rick Vigar sixth, Troy Dooley in seventh, Scotty Rattler Van Loon in eighth, Troy Sipple in ninth. Bradley Wall is holding up the rear of this top 10 in 10th place. We just got to keep an eye on Daly, DeGoey. None of them are actually on track. Bradley Wall might sneak himself into this top 10 unless Travis Nielsen can really pull something out of the bag. Well, there we go. It's all set, done and dusted, I'd say.
Ana Pavlovich is halfway through this lap, though, so I wouldn't count him out just yet. Oh,
a bit of damage on that right left, and you can actually see that already affecting the car. Right left, rear left. They both start with R, mate. I knew what I was talking about. Thanks for correcting me. I do appreciate that.
I think we have our top 10 settled.
You believe so?
We definitely do now. I think this is just Petar showing us what he can do. So first out in the top 10 shootout will be Bradley Wall in the 22 machine. See what Troy Dooley can do here. Can he find anything? He's got a green in the third sector.
He'll pull a purple in the next sector. He might not be looking too bad to improve. Sneaky Rabbit, I suggest getting the Logitech G920s or G927s or the G925s. Any of those are phenomenal starting wheels and
I think
pedals.
you mean the G920,
Sorry,
G29, or the G923.
That's the one. Thanks, bud. I knew what I was saying. Oh my gosh.
I think that does us.
That is going to lock out the racecraft qualifying session at the moment. Joe Mahoney is holding provisional P1, but we will be heading through to the Racecraft Top 10 Shootout. So again, thank you to Racecraft for coming on board and sponsoring our qualifying and Top 10 Shootout tonight. Of course, a huge shout out to simrigs.com. Go and check them out if you want to upgrade your gear. As well as, yeah, go check out Racecraft. All the links to all our sponsors are in the description below. Go check them out. Racecraft.com. Use our promo code SRW5 and get 5% off any purchases, as well as temptingsweets.com.au. Use SRW10 to get a discount, a sweet, sweet discount over at temptingsweets.com.au. Yeah, and Discord's in the link. If you want to get involved, come join the Discord community. Bunch of awesome fellas over here that love to have a chat and help people out, as well as you can see what we do every week. Also head over to www.simracingworld.com.au to find out a little bit more about what we can offer you. Mahoney's still out there. Oh, that's right. It's a normal session. He will have until the end of this lap before the qualify. Oh, no, go on. See you later, Joe. Catch you later. Results are locked in and finalised. I can't see them. Oh, I can't see my OBS. That's why. Provisional P1 until we head to the Racecraft Top 10 Shootout is Joe Mahoney for Race on Oz with a 2:09.209. Tim Nicol in second. Andrew Cowan third. So Cowie did have that phenomenal lap, but managed to get knocked down a few pegs. Jason Douglas in fourth, Scott Weston in fifth, Rickers Vigor sixth, Troy Dooley seventh, Scotty Rattler Van Loon in eighth, Troy Sipple in ninth, and Bradley Wall in 10th. They will be heading through to your Racecraft Equipment Top 10 Shootout. We'll be heading over to that server any minute now. Please bear with us as we take a quick intermission. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and people of all ages, welcome back to the simrigs.com V8 Supercars Amateur Series. We are now in our top 10 shootout. Thank you for being patient with us this evening while we get loaded into the next session. Bradley Wall will be the first driver, as he did qualify in 10th, to head out onto the Circuit of the Americas GP format tonight. Let's have a quick look at the temperature and see what we're looking at. We have an air temperature of 22 degrees with a light gust of 10 kilometers an hour. It is partly cloudy, and that means we have a nice cool track of 24 degrees Celsius. I do believe the drivers are probably going to love that temperature at the moment.
Well, I definitely think they will. I think that'll give us some really good indications of grit. I think that's really beneficial to seeing some really fast lap times come in through the top 10 shootout, and the drivers to be more confident jumping on the brakes. I think a common spot that we need to watch out for tonight during this top 10 shootout is people sending it a bit too deep into turn one, thinking that that's where they'll find all the lap time. There's another 19 corners to find lap time. I think just start your lap well, get through turn one, get yourself on the run down the hill into the S's section, and then start to assess where you're at from there. Of course, I won't have a good representative delta from a session best. Talking iRacing technical speak. There's a bar that you can put up. If you've seen any iRacing streams, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. There's a bar you can put up inside the HUD, and you'll be able to see what your delta is to a all-time best, session best, what else? Comparison lap. So some of these drivers might have comparison laps that they've saved or anything like that to get an idea. But the all-time best won't be entirely representative unless they've done times in this type of conditions versus doing them elsewhere. And they obviously don't have a session best because they wouldn't have set a lap in the session. Drivers at the moment are currently in with race control getting a driver's briefing before they go out for the top 10 shootout. It's not like it's something you can set up in iRacing directly. It's something that we do specially. So we set an hour long qualifying session, and then basically let the drivers go and set their best lap times, and then we set a manual grid for the race server. So that's how we make it work in SRW for our top 10 shootout nights. Of course, tonight's round sponsor Warren & Brown Tools for our round 6 here at the Circuit of the Americas, based in Austin, Texas.
Austin, Texas. Oh, man, that thing there looks like a huge slide. That looks awesome. Anzac's also dropped into the chat. How you doing, Anzac? Thanks for dropping in, mate. He said, get a Logitech G920. They aren't the best, but if you want to start sim racing, they last about 2 years. I am still using a G920. I don't mind the wheel itself, especially if you tweak some of the force feedback and the torque strength. You can actually make it feel quite nice, but the pedals are definitely the first thing to upgrade. They are a spongy, proverbial words I will not say. I did not like the pedals one bit.
They are good starter pedals.
They are good starter pedals, yes, but I got over them, I don't know, within like a week or two of using them and just went, nah, they don't feel great. So, but yeah, definitely G920, good starting point. Definitely can pick them up on Marketplace. And then as you upgrade, we got plenty of sponsors out there that would love to help out and start moving your way into what I've been told becomes a very, very expensive hobby, let alone my computer is already a heck of an expensive hobby. But adding... There's Bradley Wall sitting on the pits.
Jet Murray's dropped into chat to pipe up Jason Douglas in the 88 machine, I should say, for Almar Esports. So we will see how he goes. He was fourth in that last session with a 2-minute 9.55, 2.5 tenths away from Joe Mahoney's rapid at 2-minute 9.32. Bradley Wall heading out on track now to for his warm-up lap. He will make his way around this circuit, and then we will start to see a fast lap from him.
Yeah, good to see Jet out there cheering on his team. Careful not to commentate, curse him, Jet, saying Jason is to take pole in top 10. We've seen it happen. I think I did it to a driver on Sunday, actually. Sure I did. I'm sure I commentators curse a driver every single broadcast. Alright, Bradley Wall on his warm-up lap at the moment. What a beautiful looking track. The addition, just the red and the blue just make this look like such a nice track. I did a bit of practice around this track. Not very good at it, but it was fun.
That's all that matters, mate. Of course, that's all that matters when you're sim racing, is to have some fun.
Especially if you're just learning. And leagues like SRW, I think, are a great place for it. A lot of new guys coming into SRW want to get out here and have a bit of fun and learn from other people. And it's such a good spot to do it as we get ready for Mr. Bradley Wall to hit his lap. Pressure is on now.
Breaks car in a straight line, trails off, gets car rotated into turn 1. Nice and easy on the throttle. Nicely done. Into turn 2 now. This car ran out a little bit wide, cuts it back over. Lots of curb at turn 5. Turn 6, this double apex right hander. Cut back across to the right, so you open up. Turn 7. Nice and smooth through turn 9, now through turn 10. Circuit drops away a little bit from you there. Straight line braking again, trails off. Gets the car rotated nicely, clips the inside curve at turn 11. Down this long back straight now. Begin braking marker for turn 12. Nice and clean looking lap so far. Hitting all the apexes, hammering a little bit of that inside curb. It's a little bit of a sausage there that he runs over. Brakes it, he's just changed direction, not using all the brakes there so he can get the car pulled up nicely. Still carry speed through turn 15. Triple apex, right-hander now. Don't want to use too much steering lock to scrub speed. Turn 19. Oh, it's very compliant on turn in. Looks like he's got a lot of grip. Turn 20, second gear, inside curb clip. Get on the power nice and easy. Carry it across the line, and he's done a 2-minute 10.7. So a little bits away from what he did in the qualifying session prior to this. Brad, mate, nice lap. The car looked like not too much of a handful. Give us your thoughts.
Well, I'm glad it looked like that because I didn't feel like that. I couldn't trust that at all.
From on board, it looked like you didn't have to do too much, too many micro corrections or anything like that. So I was just going off what I was seeing. Of course, not in the driver's seat.
Yeah.
Is the circuit a little bit slippery?
A little bit warmer. It's the car's pushing a bit through the corners, so yeah, I'm not overly impressed with that one, but it is what it is. Worst I can come is 10th, so
That's a very good way to look at it, mate.
You don't have to be quick in a qualifying session to win a race, mate. So
no, not a 60-minute race, that's for sure.
right, keep your head up, buddy, and good luck tonight. Hope to see you in the podium after the race.
Thanks, man. That'd be great.
Have a good race, mate.
Have a good night, guys.
Jump now to Troy Sipple in a 17 machine for Quantum Peckers Performance Sim Racing. Very bold livery. All Pecky's cars. V lines it more into turn 1. So slightly tighter through the corner. Green through the first sector, which is only a little run down to a little straight between turns 2 and 3, as you can see on the track map on the right hand side. The red dots are the sector timing lines, and the red line obviously on the main straight is the start finish line.
He is looking phenomenally smooth.
See what time that relates to. Still green in the second sector. Sends it in very deep on the brakes for the hairpin leaning on the back straight, turn 11. Let's see how wide the track is. We've come from, what have we done? VIR, Daytona, tracks that are definitely not, 5 or 6 cars wide like it is here through the mid corner, but tightens on the exit. So invites drivers in when we go racing to go for an overtake, lots of space. But with the corners tightening on the exit, got to make sure you can get the move done nice and clean. Keeps it quite narrow through the entrance to turn 15. Great corner to watch drivers at, especially in Formula 1 when they're almost flat, basically through 16, 17, 18. Car looks nice and composed in the run up to the final corner. See what his exit's like. Does go purple in the final sector. Does go to the top on a 2-minute 10.57. So beats Bradley Wall by just over a 1/10 of a second. We'll get Troy in now. Troy, mate, that looked like a nice, smooth, neat lap. How'd you find it?
Yeah, thanks, boy. This track's very hard because the off tracks are so easy to get. So you just got to try and take it easy. It's probably the worst track for a shootout, to be honest. But yeah, just thought I'd play it safe and just get around and get a half decent lap. So
it was a very nice lap, mate, from the outside. Worst you can be starting is 9th. 1 hour race. How you feeling? Do the tyres wear a lot around here?
Yes. Yeah, they're pretty big. They're pretty big wear, massive wear. You only get one decent lap out of them. So you slide or heat the tyres up. 3/4 of the rest of the lap's just totally screwed, as to say. So yeah, so you got to go easy. Watch your fuel, watch your tyres, and yeah, hopefully get as far through each stint as I can before I lose too much time.
Right. So what I'm reading there is watch the undercut. Am I correct?
Yeah, the undercut. Yeah, I've had a race here before, which the undercut worked really well. So I'll see where I finish up in the shootout and then work out what the strategy is. So, but yeah, they're calling the temperature's going to change as well. So I think everyone's strategy is going to be a little bit different, a little bit harder, and yeah, we'll just have to hope for the best. So, but I'm pretty confident in the race setup. So
Awesome, mate. Well, hopefully that confidence pays off, and it'll be good to watch you throughout the next 60 minutes.
Yep, sweet. Thanks, boys.
Have a good race,
No worries,
mate.
mate.
Cheers, mate. See ya.
We are on board with Mr. Scotty Rattler Van Loon.
Camera angle that I haven't seen before.
Yeah, it's
From
a roll
center
bar.
of dash.
A roll, yeah, right in the center of the dash. Track doesn't work the greatest for top 10, I don't think. I think we want to see the wheel on track.
Purple in the second sector. So this is looking like a very good lap here. Does the same thing as what we saw Troy do. Different to Brad was V-line up more towards the apex of the corner rather than staying wide and using a lot more trail brake to get the car to slow down and rotate. Keeps car nicely to the right-hand side of the track to open up turn 12. Might have been just about a car width away from where he wanted to be, but still looking like a very neat lap so far. Rotates nicely through 13 in the exit, run up to 15 now. Much wider. Oh, looked like he pinched a brake and just slid it a bit into the corner, maybe a bit of understeer. And that doesn't do too much to his time. Last two corners. First one of those looks good. Turn 19. Turn 20 now. Looks nice on the exit. Where does this put him? Only third on a 211.19, so 6/10 off his teammate. Drops him into third place at the moment. Scotty, mate, looks like the car got a little bit of a handful towards the end of the lap. Give us your thoughts.
Yeah, it wasn't just the end, mate. It was basically the whole thing. Once you lose it through the S's, it's a struggle to get back. And if we're in practice, I just would have escaped out and done it again, mate. But yeah, it's the worst lap I've done, I think. I'm 2 seconds off my PB, so... Oh, well, at least I'm still in the top 10, and that's a bank lap, and we'll see how we go.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. It's unfortunate to have, definitely the S's are such a one-line section of racetrack. Have you done much racing here to see what what racing someone is like through the S's?
No, nothing, mate. I jumped on practice this afternoon with a 000, and nothing to go by. So had probably an hour practice warm up, and yeah, that was it. But once you start over driving it, you're gone, and that's what I did through the S's. I tried to make a little bit of time back and overdrove, and it was just downhill from there. But that's all right. We'll see how we go in the race. It's a long one, so.
Absolutely, mate. Well, good luck, best of luck for the race, and I'll be keen to see your progress through the grid.
Cheers, fellas. I'll be coming from the back.
Good race, mate.
Yet again. Cheers, boys.
On board now with Troy Dooley. The 333 car already looking extremely smooth through the first sector of the track with setting a purple. I'm sure he's going to want to push that harder. Lock more of those purples in as we see a personal best come through. Down the top long straight.
Hamburger Camp giving us a nice view of some of the undulation down this back straight. Elevation change. Rotates nicely through 12.
If I can notice something, mention something. Look at the top speed of Troy Sipple. 284. Oh, a bit of a pinch at the brake. He's definitely lost a bit of time there. Still got a purple. 2 personal bests. Can he make up for it in the final 3 corners? Final 2 corners now. Hate for him to have thrown that lap away as he comes around the final corner. A bit of a slide. Will go over the line. Up into P1. 2:10.380. Troy, mate. It looked like a couple of little mistakes there towards the last sector of the track, mate. But you managed to lock in provisional P1. How did you feel the car held out on that shootout lap?
Yeah, it was pretty good, obviously, at the start of the lap. But yeah, the couple of mistakes hurt me a fair bit.
Yeah, I think you just had a little pinch of the brakes through 15 and had to make a little correction to arrest the slide. Were your tyres sort of giving you a bit of grief towards the end?
They hadn't gone off, but hadn't. They seemed okay. It was just totally my mistake, getting on the gas a little bit early and braking a little bit too hard. It's going to be a long race. I think off tracks are going to be a big concern for most people, definitely for me. In practice, seem to find them every lap.
Alrighty, mate. Well, hopefully the race comes to you and you can really capitalise on a great lap there in the top 10 shootout. And I'm very keen to see how you go.
Cheers, guys. Have a good one.
Have a good race, mate.
See you, mate.
Rick Vigor now. That Angry Birds Kumo tyres livery. Looking absolutely fire. As he comes down for his... What do you call the lap? It's an out lap and a flying lap. That's it. No wings on these cars, but man, they do move quick. With the top speed so far being 284 kilometers an hour.
It's a good camera angle to just see the lines that the guys are taking through complicated S section here. The brake lights light up. You can see how it comes off the brakes well before the apex to allow the car to just slow down itself and keep the balance of the car exactly where he wants it. Dips the nose a bit under brakes, heavy braking application into turn 11. Flattens the car up on the exit.
Now.
Yeah.
Tight technical track. These guys definitely aren't going to be running too much. Is it low or high wing for the top speed?
They won't be running much wing. Yeah, sorry, they'll be running a lot of wing in comparison to somewhere like Daytona.
Still looking extremely smooth on 3 personal bests. Can still take pole position with the way that is set up. 4 personal bests across the lap.
Just washed a little bit through 19.
Should come around
nice on the exit.
over the line. 4th.
And then 4th.
But look how close they are between 4th and 3rd. Like,
it's very close. The margins are quite tight in this field at the moment.
Dude, they are. Rick, mate, how'd you feel about your lap?
Pretty disappointing, really. I didn't hook it up. So anyway, I didn't get an off track this week, which is a good start. But
That's a great start, to be honest. You can't be too disappointed. You made it through the top 10 shootout. You've locked yourself into a position, and you've only got, what, 4 cars to go to find out where you actually will sit.
Yeah. Now, bring on the race, eh?
Yeah, mate, it's going to be a solid race. How are you feeling about COTA and the V8 Supercars with 23 other drivers on track?
Yeah, it's not one of my favourite tracks. Doesn't normally work well for me, but you just never know. Try and find a bit of rhythm and see what happens.
That's it, mate. Stay positive. Get your foot down. Get out there, race hard and have fun, mate. And good luck tonight.
Thank you.
Good luck, mate. Scott Weston starting his lap now. So he goes into turn 1. Sends it in deep on the brakes. Uses all of the steering angle that he can. Get the car to rotate. Definitely looks like a very slick, slippery track at the moment. Runs it out wide through the double apex of turn 6. A little bit of the curve at 7. Had to correct a little bit of a rear slide there. That doesn't compromise his lap time too much. Just a little bit again there. Eager on the throttle. Absolutely driving this car on the limit. See on the brakes there. Must have a bit more rearward brake bias. Probably sends it in a bit hot. Has to rotate well past the apex to get it on the run down this back straight. So might have lost a little bit more time there as well. Over really hard on the rears there to get the car to rotate. Through 13 and 14, now 15. Looks okay. Definitely seeing a common theme of a bit of push understeer at the moment. Final corner now. This is the apex curb. Run up to the line. Where does it put him? Into P4. Only 0.05 faster than Rick Vigor on a 2-minute 10.92. So, Scotty, mate, I'm sure you were hoping for a little bit more, but give us your thoughts, mate. Car looked a little bit of a push understeer towards the end of the lap.
Yeah, I went too cautious at the beginning and then, yeah, way too much understeer towards middle to late. Hopefully it comes to me in the race, but I could do a little bit more front end grip, to be honest.
Did you have to adjust anything in the car, like any roll bars or anything, or were you just happy just to leave it as is and just get it to the end?
Should have, but I didn't. I was too concentrating on not doing an off track, I'll be honest with you. It's pretty slippery out here at the moment.
Yeah, seems like a common theme about the off tracks. It's something that I didn't quite appreciate coming into the race tonight. But look, mate, it's a 60-minute race. Worst you can start at the moment is 8. So it could definitely make your way up through the field, and who knows, we might see you at the end. So good luck, mate. Go well. And we'll,
Thank you.
Maybe talk to you at the end.
Yeah, cheers, mate.
Right, Jason Douglas is here, ready to start his lap. Jet has called him to pole in this session. Jet Murray, obviously in chat, his teammate at LMR Esports.
Well, we've got about 2 minutes and 10 seconds of time to find out. As his lap begins.
Makes the beeline into turn 1. Once again, a little bit skatey on the ridge, a little bit eager on the throttle coming out of turn 1. Line looks okay through the S's. Thought he might have just pushed it a bit deep, but I think he's managed to get control of the line again. Lots of support for Jason in chat at the moment. Can he dethrone to Pecky's cars up in P1 and P2? He's slot himself right up there. Purple in the second sector. So good run through the S's. That's really the critical thing that we're looking for. This third sector, all about straight line speed. Green through the second sector, third sector, I should say, into the technical fourth sector. Car needs to be able to brake and turn well through here. Needs to have good low, mid, and high speed grip to make the most of your lap time. Car needs to rotate nicely, be compliant under brakes through 15. It's neat through there. Running up now through the triple apex right-hander. Saw some drivers using a little dab of brakes to get the balance right, get the balance back onto the nose. Use a lot of the inside curb of that third apex compared to others. Little twitch, that turn in for the second to last corner. Final corner. Looks good. On power, Purple through the last sector. And he does dethrone. He puts 9/10 on the field with a 2-minute 9.49. That is an absolutely massive lap there from Jason Douglas, dethroning both of the Pecky boys off the front row provisionally. Jason made mega lap, 9/10 on the field. Car looked very, very strong through the S's and through that final sector. Give us your thoughts, mate.
The car was very, very switched on. I just hung on and hopefully to get pole, but see what happens.
Yeah, mate, that's a rapid lap time. You and the rest of the LMR esports guys are definitely some of the fastest drivers we've got going around at the moment. What do you think about the race, mate? Can you convert your performance here in top 10 shootout into a good result?
Hopefully, just eyes forward, and I don't know how long the race is, but yeah, just eyes forward and hopefully come out on top.
60 minutes, mate. We've got 60 minutes of COTA battling with 23 other amateur drivers, buddy. So good luck tonight, mate. Get out there, race hard, and have a bunch of fun.
Yeah, I will, thank you, and thanks to Jeb for helping me too, so hopefully he helps me during the race.
Got the boys out there in chat cheering you on, mate.
Thank you.
Andrew Cowan now starting, running through the back end of the S's here. Having a lot of curb through turn, used a little bit in turn 4 and then having a lot into turn 5. Just runs a bit deep, had to chase the rear. That's really going to compromise his lap time on the run down to turn 11. Yep, car looks very skatey on the rears. I think that green will not be of any comfort to Cowie. Yeah,
Slide again.
He's either driving it very hard to make up time, or he's giving us his best example of an expression session in the top 10 shootout. I don't know which one to pick at the moment.
Well, look, he made it to the top 10, so if you're going to have one little slide, you may as well make it multiple slides. The worst he can do is 10th place.
Think of the TV, though. Think of the broadcast. Like, he commentates with us. He's just doing it for us now.
He is.
You can see him just eager on the throttle, just having some fun. I know we might be making light of what will probably be a very disappointing lap for him, but Cowie's one of those people who you'll be able to have a laugh with. He'll just be trying to get it home now without an off track. Really trying to just make sure he gets a valid time so that if someone else has a moment, he can capitalise. Qualified in P3 for this session, 2 minute 9.42. So 2 tenths slower than Joe Mahoney, but Cowie won't be 100% on that lap. He'll be quite disappointed, I think, with how it started. 2 minute 12.46. So almost 3 seconds off the pace, but we'll get him in here. Cowie, mate, that looked like a handful. I can already hear you having a bit of a giggle.
Horrible, wasn't it?
I don't know. It looked great from our end.
It did. It was great TV.
I just went too deep at the end of all these S's and that stuff that I'd lost half a second there, and then I got wheel spin out of the back straight. So, and you've really got to nail that exit onto the back, entry onto the back straight to get a 9. So,
We honestly thought you were just putting on a show for us.
Well, I'd stuffed it by then, so yeah, I might have got it a bit hard, just chasing it, and these things happen, boys, I suppose. So let's see if I can fight my way through. At least you can make a few passes at this place.
Yeah, it is a good track for that, mate. And worst case scenario, P10, bud. We know what you're like out on the track. I'm sure you can get your nose through and make a few overtakes, buddy. So good luck, and may the force be with you tonight.
Thanks, buddy. Cheers, boys.
We got one, mate.
No idea where the Star Wars mention came from, but there it was.
Anyway, to the third of the Pecky's cars running tonight. Tim Nicol, one of our fastest qualifiers throughout the season so far. Is looking like a very nice start to the lap. Purple in the first sector, so managed to get turn 1 and turn 2 absolutely bang on. Lots of curb there being used at turn 7 through 8 through 9. Chase the rear a little bit eager on throttle. That shouldn't hurt his lap time too much. Rotate a little bit too much through turn 10. Turn 11 here, just chasing the rears a bit, throws it back down to first, short shifts to second. Trying to get the run onto the back straight now with minimal wheel spin. Green through the third sector, now the super technical fourth sector. Rotates nicely over the curb. Runs it more narrow so we can open up turn 15. Nicely under brakes there. Definitely looks like he's pushing the limits at the moment. See from above, cuts the car back down to the right, and then all the way, runs it out to the left, runs it all the way to the right to open up turn 19. Turns nicely into the final corner, runs it up on the apex curb. Moves it across the line. What has he done? 2 minute 9.94. Slots himself into P2. And Tim, mate, that looked like a pretty decent lap. Give us your thoughts.
Hey guys, how you going? Yeah, not too bad. I just didn't want to do what I did last week and been at the start of the lap, so just cruise around. But nah, it was good. Felt pretty solid. It's going to be a challenge this race if track temps stay the same, but it was enjoyable. Bit of a smile on my face because I actually completed it this time.
Yeah, it's a bit of a turnaround from last week, mate. Worst you can start is P3, but I can hear you are definitely happy with that lap. You're talking about the race itself, and we've heard common theme about off tracks. But if the temps do stay the same, it's going to be a very interesting race, that's for sure, with a lot of tyre wear. Have you done much racing around here in any car?
a little bit of racing on the West Circuit in a supercar, but it's been a long time since I've done the full circuit. So yeah, just a reminder to watch those tyres. Yeah, no, it'll be interesting. Turn 1's always going to be a bit of fun.
All right, mate. Well, best of luck tonight. Where she can start is P3. So let's see what happens with Joe starting his lap now. And fingers crossed you can give us a good show and we might see you at the end.
No worries, guys. Yeah, no, I'll have if we can get some battles going, that'll be really good. And keep it through to the end to keep you guys entertained.
Thanks, mate. Much appreciated.
Too easy. No worries, guys. See ya.
See ya. Joe Mahoney here has always been there or thereabouts, but I think that I don't think he's got a race win yet, does he?
Oh, that's a good question. I definitely know he's been on the podium, and he's getting up there, especially
consistently.
Yeah, consistently, always up there. So I definitely think if he hasn't got an actual race win, he's due. Definitely due.
Without a doubt.
A lot of guys from the Pecky Boys in chat as well. Shouting them on. Mal Pal, good to see you in the chat, mate. Be great to see you back on track sometime, buddy. Good to see you out there supporting the drivers and the league.
Well, a good lap from Joe at the moment. Last driver out. Has himself on provisional pole after racecraft qualifying. Top 10 shootout's a different story. Purple through that second sector, so has obviously got lots of grip in the car. Just chasing the rear a little bit towards the end of this lap. Tricky triple apex section. Definitely looks nice under brakes though, running into second to last corner. Final corner, final driver in the top 10 shootout. Let's see where this puts him. Comes across the line, goes P2. Only 300ths faster than Tim Nicol on a 2-minute 9.91. I think he did slightly faster into the shootout, 2-minute 9.32, but 2-minute 9.91, Joe. Give us your thoughts, mate. Just missed out on pole.
Hello, Mr. Mahoney. We know you've got a voice. I've spoken to you multiple times. JJ.
Hello, boys. I'm sorry,
mate.
I got that sorted.
Oh, then you run your car into the wall. What are you doing?
Oh, fun and games. Oh, wow.
Enjoy that lap, mate?
Yeah, it was good. I really enjoyed the shootout. That was a great lap by Jace. It's a little bit tough, the track, and that's a cracking lap by him. So congratulations. Tim Nicol's playing with us, I reckon. I reckon he's got a lot more time in it, and he's going to show us that in the race. I'll bridesmaid again. I've missed out on pole. I'll start from second again. So
you're due for a race win, aren't you?
Would be nice. I'm not getting my hopes up around here. Although I can do it, maybe get a good one lap in over the course of a stint. I will be overusing the tyres and heading them up too much, and I'll go backwards. That's my expectation of this, so I might go a bit conservative in all of that and just get through it. Turn 1's going to be interesting as always, and I'd just be trying to get into that rhythm, get through this race. I think there's going to be plenty going on, so I'm just going to keep my head down as much as I can, I think.
I think what you said there is about your expectations of how your race is going to go is keep your expectations low. So when you do better, you're really, really stoked at how you've done. So, mate, you've driven extremely consistent over this season, and you're only getting better and better. And just get out there, enjoy it, mate, and see what you can do, because I think you'll surprise yourself by the end of this race.
you're right. Keep your expectations low and deliver more. And you can't go wrong there. Look, I'll be happy regardless. If it gets another podium, I'll be absolutely stoked. It's going to be a tough race. It's a tough place on tyres, and I think we'll have to do a bit of fuel saving through this as well, which I'm absolutely terrible at. Guys like Tim and Cowie are experts at it. It just goes completely against my nature to back off and try and save fuel when my lead foot just wants to keep the gas to the floor. And with that, I end up using too much fuel and overusing the tyres and overdriving it. And regardless, it's going to be good fun. I'm looking forward to it.
Definitely, mate. Well, we'll leave you with it. And good luck tonight, buddy. There is plenty of people out there watching tonight. I'm not going to tell you any numbers. I don't want to give you any stage fright or anything, mate. But the V8 amateurs, have been absolutely killing it with viewers. So they're all ready for a phenomenal race tonight, mate. So get out there, good luck, and have fun.
Thanks, boys, and hope it's entertaining. And look forward to watching it back later, that's for sure. And yeah. Cheers, awesome, boys. Mate. I'll catch up with you later.
Yeah, too easy, buddy. Have a good one.
Luck, mate.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all ages, that is the end of our Racecraft Top 10 Shootout. Results are as on screen. Jason Douglas from LMR Esports will take your Racecraft pole position tonight with a phenomenal lap of 209.49. Joe Mahoney will be on the front grid right next to him. Tim Nichols and Troy Dooley will take up the second grid. Second row, Troy Sipple, Bradley Waugh on the third row, Scott Weston and Rick Vigor on the fourth row, Scotty Rattler Van Loon and Andrew Cowan on the fifth row. We're going to take a quick intermission while we get set up for the next race. Stick with us because we will be right back for your simrigs.com V8 Supercars Amateur Series right here on SRW TV. Welcome back to your simrigs.com V8 Supercars Amateur Series here for round 6, thanks to Warren and Brown Tools at Circuit of the Americas. A absolute cracker of a top 10 shootout as always, with our AM drivers putting everything on the line to find out where they will sit on the grid. I'm talking about high track temperatures being 29 degrees through the shootout. And you can see on screen now it has dropped 2 degrees. I don't know if that's going to make much of a difference during the feature race tonight. Thomas, what do you think?
I think it will not make too much of a difference. It'll be a little bit of a respite, but yeah, common theme being higher track temperatures means more tyre wear, which means they're going to be getting slower throughout the race, throughout the stint. The undercut will be extremely strong, but that comes at a risk of those who are better with their tyre life extending and putting you under pressure. We had Joe Mahoney talk about a bit of fuel save requirement to get home on 2 stops. So is there a chance that we might see a 3-stop strategy play out? Who knows? Could be a chance that potentially a safety car or the like tonight, which will be interesting to say the least. I am very keen to see how these drivers go in these conditions around this track. Drivers were saying that it's not as good as a top 10 shootout track as we would have hoped. It was still a good top 10 shootout, but I definitely think that racing around this track is going to be a lot more exciting. We saw at Daytona a couple of weeks ago. The racing was flat chat, or everything was going on at Daytona. So I'm hoping that tonight is more of the same as we, last week we're at Suzuka. So we jumped back over the Pacific, inland to Texas tonight for this 60-minute race. As I was talking about safety cars, there's a safety car just going past your screen down into turn 2 now.
Huge shout out to promo department for the sponsorship of our safety car, and of course our race stewards this evening, which is Tyson McAvoy. Big thankless job, but somebody's got to do it, and I'm glad it's him and not me. Definitely enjoy being behind the scenes here and on comms with you, Preech. You're talking about pit stop strategies, mate. I am one of those people that get really excited to see what each driver and or teams do when it comes to pit stops. We have seen some amazing strategies take people from last place right up to into the top 3 just off a very clever played out pit stop strategy. So I do get excited. It is a very long track. Fuel burn probably, gosh, what are we looking at? Maybe 18 to 20, 22 minutes, I'd say, before we see a pit stop, depending on safety car or not. I think if we do get a safety car, we will see early people pit and possibly try a last-minute pit stop within the 10 minutes left to go. Let's see what happens there, but I do believe we've got an interesting race on our hands. The amateurs, how close they are from P1 all the way down to how many we got? 23, I think, or 22 tonight. They are always extremely close to each other, and there is battles non-stop. So I am extremely excited to get this race underway. With about 5 minutes left of this practice session, Jason Douglas from LMR Esports did take out the Racecraft top 10 shootout and will hold that pole position for the start of this 60-minute race. Guys to keep your eyes on. What do you reckon? Preech, from somewhere back further in the field. Well, we've got
Cowie, absolutely. Cowie's the one I will pipe up and say that we're hoping that he makes his way up through the field. A bit of a scrappy top 10 shootout lap. Kept it clean and managed to get to time on the board, but I think Cowie will be looking to move his way up the field tonight.
Yeah, definitely.
The other one that I was surprised about was Petar Pavlovich down in last place, qualified in last. So I think he's got some pace to burn, and should make his way up through the field, hopefully.
I think so. Petar's definitely been a good contender for the front runners over the last few seasons. He's raced with Sim Racing World for the last 2 years and always put in some phenomenal races. I do believe he also still has a bunch of fun no matter where he is on track, and he's going to put on a great show and get out there and race hard. I would like to see. I'm gonna say. I think we're going to be in for maybe a little bit of an upset and see some of these back runners possibly get further up the field than we're expecting. This is a very tricky track, and then when you throw, 20 cars going at it together through corners, two wides are definitely going to be quite interesting through the S's with those little pyramid ramps. We might see some front runners, maybe make a few little mistakes with the pressure on from behind, and I get a few back runners sneaking on through. Reese DeGoey is one of those drivers from the Performance Sim Racing team. I haven't heard much of his name over this season. Was around over the last few seasons, so it's good to see him back on track. And another PSR car out there, quite a few in the AM series, so they do have the advantage of teams out there right now. So we've seen Team Advantage play a big card across multiple series in SRW. So I think if those boys can get together and work together, we could see maybe see Cowie getting up the front where we'd like to see him this race tonight.
Yeah, I think the benefit of having team cars in these sort of series where we don't have it's not like team championship or anything like that, but each of the drivers driving individually. The benefit of having a team car there's a lot more to it than just having another car on track. There's all of the benefits that you get from having a teammate to practice with, to share setups with, share tips and tricks on the track and where they're finding time and that sort of thing. But during the race, it can just be to have someone to motivate you, someone friendly that you can a little carrot in front of you that you can try and chase, or talk about strategy with to really work out what's best for each individual driver and for the team as a whole to make their way forward. I think one of the big things that I want to talk about, though, whilst we're waiting for this session to run over, whilst we've only got a minute or so before we jump into the race itself, is it was close between Tyson and Stephen there. Yeah,
boys out there having a bit of fun before the race goes, making sure Stephen gets put under a bit of pressure, get his practice in.
Yep, bit of racecraft practice for him. That's always valuable. I talk about these cars. If you've come from GT3s and you're not sure what a supercar is like to drive, a little technical stuff for you. About 600 horsepower to a lock rear diff, so easy to spin up the rear tyres, and very easy to get very, very cool looking burnouts done. Difficult to start these cars as well. They've got basically shift lock on the way up, so shift cut, so you can pull the gear whilst being flat, but on the way when you're downshifting, you have to be using the clutch or blipping the throttle in most cases if you don't have the assist turned on for that in the sim itself.
Oh, that's where I've been going wrong, gearing down then. So I need
Yes.
to look in the way I gear down because I've been having issues. Not that I'm ever going to race V8s, but I like throwing my hand at everything. But yeah, I've been having issues gearing down, so that's what it is. Because I feel like every time I'm smacking the flappy paddle, she's not going down. So
No, you need to you need to match the road speed with the engine speed, and then you'll be fine. But we'll talk about more of that throughout the 60-minute race. We'll jump to the grid now. Jason Douglas takes out pole. He was ahead by almost half a second over Joe Mahoney. Tim Nicol, Troy Dooley, Troy Sipple, Bradley Wall, Scott Weston, Rick Vigor, Scotty Rattler, Van Loon, and Andrew Cowan rounds out the top 10. Travis Daly, Reese DeGoey starting on the 6th row of the grid. 5th row of the grid. 6th row. Scott, where are you? Mark Peck, Brett Taylor, Bradley Clayton, Travis Nielsen, Petar Pavlovich, and Steven Sinkovich, who is getting in with us tonight. He will start out of 18th position. And, of course, safety car driver is Tyson McAvoy. Just waiting for the green light here. Cars are all on the grid. We are ready for a start. Run up to turn 1. Watch 4, 5, 6 wide. Green lights and away we go. Everyone gets off nice and cleanly. Lots of fanning out already on the run up to turn 1. Jason Douglas converts. Runs it deep into turn 1 though. Bradley Wall's up in 3 spots already into 3rd. So on the run down through turn 2 now. Everyone should be getting in a single file now on the run through the S's. Watch the cars snake their way through. Still cars too wide, further back in the pack. Rick Vigor is off there, runs back on cleanly. Hill through turn 9. Back down through the kink at turn 10. You can see the elevation change just there. Might be a slowdown already for the car in blue. I'm not sure who that is. Somebody pulling over to the left-hand side of the track, but everyone's through cleanly. Bit of field spread already starting to go on, but running down the back straight now. Lots of people trying to get in line, use whatever slipstream benefit they can get. Into the heavy turn 12. Heavy on the brakes from Troy Sipple. Shows the nose to Rick Vigor in front. Careful for cars behind him as well. Troy's got Scotty Rattler, Van Loon in behind.
Change his paint from the practice or not have it updated? That's a new paint for Scotty Rattler there.
That is.
Bradley Wall up 3 positions off the start. He must have got an absolute killer start, but don't talk too soon. Troy Dooley is right on his rear fender as they come around the final corner. Bradley Wall with a mistake. That is probably going to allow Troy Dooley and possibly Joe Mahoney to sneak on through as well. Or Mahoney may not be close enough. Bradley's going to be on the inside. It is going to block Dooley, but Dooley could get a better run out of here having the wider line.
Oh, look at the acceleration. The grip off the corner, just being able to straight line it, run a little bit more mid-corner speed, being a little bit wider. We managed to get the drive off the corner.
Oh, Bradley rolls hit the pyramid. Oh, my Lord. If I was Mahoney then, I would have peeked just a little bit, wondering if that car was coming across in front of me. Bradley did extremely well to keep that on track, and Mahoney did well to not run into the back of him. The Goey starting to make moves, just got himself around Peck. Rattler Van Loon's off the track, he's had a slide. He has pulled back onto the track safely, but has dropped quite a few positions. Look at this, 4 in the battle here. Pavlovich, Taylor, Van Loon, Daly. All in a big battle.
Taylor's going to look for a move here. And so is Nielsen on Pavlovich. Everyone shows the nose to each other. Doesn't quite get up alongside. So it's tucked back in.
Galen going on the inside here. He's going to have the outside run though. Teammates, but teammates love a good battle. Oh, his teammates pushed him right to the edge of the track. They are nearly 3 wide there.
Oh, Pato Pavlovich is getting up the inside of Brett Taylor.
And he's around onto the back of Van Loon. No, onto the back of Daly, sorry.
He goes defensive, compromises his run. Van Loon runs wide.
Great battle here at the rear of the grid. Battles happening across the whole field at the moment. If there's orange on the timing table, there is battles happening. Jason Douglas still out in first place. Had a phenomenal start. Tim Nicol is chasing him down though. These two are starting to push quite a gap. Back from Troy Dooley, who is nearly 2 seconds off the pace at the moment. Joe Mahoney up on Bradley Wall. Mahoney down 3 spots.
Switchback. Almost pays off with the acceleration out of the corner.
Still there though. Nicol made a move on.
Dives to the inside. They converge at the apex. Who's going to get ahead? I think it might be Joe Mahoney. They'll have the inside line as they come into turn 12 at the end of this long back straight. Douglas and Nicol are going at it.
Yeah, they are.
They've just swapped positions.
Action replay. Come flying down the straight. This is why they were swapping positions, because they were side by side. The final corner, Douglas will tighten that up really nicely. As I believe we may have had an incident in the back of the pack, but there is just battles left, right and centre. Cowan is on the back of Weston now. He is up 3 positions from his qualifying. Nicol on the back of Douglas. Dooley is now caught up. He is now on the back of Nicol and Douglas. This is what a battle will do. It'll bring those drivers in behind them closer.
Dooley was 1.2 seconds on that last lap, so that's evidence there. Dooley was able to just break away from Joe Mahoney, whilst Joe Mahoney was having a battle with Bradley Wall. So just made it 3 cars battling, and then from 4th down to 9th.
Now we've got Scott Weston. Look at this train of cars. Choo-choo through the snakes. And as those 4 keep battling, it's going to bring these rear runners back onto the top of them. Or up to the back of them, I should say. Andrew Cowan having a great battle here with Rick Viggar. Weston and Wall are going at it as well still.
Oh, my heart was in my mouth for a second then. Watching Troy Sippel throw it in to turn 11. Thought there might be contact, but managed to avoid making contact with Cowan. But now he's vulnerable to Reese DeGoey. Looking up the inside into turn 12. Can't quite get up alongside.
That actually brought Mark Peck right in on him as well. Sneaky Rabbit saying, go Tim. They do share the same name. Petar Pavlovich. Brett Taylor managed to get around Petar. Petar's back on him though. Won't let that position get away very easy. Jason Douglas, and Tim Nicol still on the rear of him. Tim Nicol does not need to fight for P1 at this moment. We are only 8 minutes in. He can just sit behind Jason, fuel save a little bit, use that draft, but he does have to be careful of Dooley as Weston and Wall. Wall very tight through turn 1. Weston got a great run out of there. He's going to be on the outside through the S's. He has dropped back in behind Wall. This is not a place to be going too wide, as we see in the background. The Pecky's performance car hit that pyramid. It's very unstable. Cowan still on the back of Vigor as well. Cars 34 and 216 under investigation because of contact on lap 3. If the screen blanks, mate, just say it out loud. It's all good.
Okay.
Yeah, until I get a third screen up and running, it's going to happen occasionally. I usually do notice if you go quiet, I'm like, oh, can't see the screen.
Joe Mahoney's just banged in the fastest lap of the race so far of a 2:11.04. So he's finding some pace, just trying to break away from Bradley Wall and try and get himself back towards the front 3. Lots of personal bests popping up on that last lap through the field. So
Weston pushing Wall as hard as he can. I think even with these two guys battling, oh my gosh, it's probably going to still be hard for Mahoney to pull away.
And as I've said that, Jason Douglas has just thrown in a 2-minute 10.9 as his fastest lap.
That's crazy.
But he's under threat from Tim Nicol. Tim's not going to let him get away. So what this is doing, though, I would say, is that Tim's probably using his tyres up a lot more because he's not taking the optimal line.
Scotty, big down the inside through turn 1. Holds that beautifully and tight and gets his way through Mark Peck, and now he's on the back of DeGoey. He's looking to claim some positions real fast.
Oh, that's a lot of curb.
Cowan
from Mark Peck.
Gosh, there's battles everywhere. Douglas, Nicol, Wall, Weston, Cowan, Vigor.
Really just dropped off the back slightly of the 2 leaders. That gap opened up to just outside a second. So that's what I was saying about Tim's tyres. Tim Nicol, I think he's got to be careful that he's not using up his tyres too much. But the other thing is, I think he's got a whole lot of straight line speed because he's closing the gap and he's in front of Jason Douglas now as they come into. He's alongside. He's going to have the run through turn 13. But Jason's going to try and switch it back, try and get up alongside on the run down into turn 15. Tim holds on. I think he's got that move done as long as you keep it clean. There's a bit of contact. Tim runs a little, has to correct the forced oversteer moment.
Unfortunately, DeGoey has had an instant as well and has dropped down to 14th place. Has happened in the background while we're watching that battle, but Tim Nicol has taken P1. Was this a mistake made by DeGoey under pressure? Oh! That
keeps it out of the wall.
Is lucky he did not hit that wall.
That's that will have definitely caught the eye of race control. From my external viewing, it looked okay. In the sense that it looked like there was a little bit of moving towards the apex before the corner, but we'll let our race director make a decision on that.
Travis Daly and Van Loon back at it again. Van Loon's wearing a Happy Mother's Day tribute. Great to see as he makes his way around Travis Daly. Now only down 2 positions from where he grid. Rusty Shackerfield drops in and says he didn't hit the wall but still won 4 flat spots. You're right, mate, that is definitely going to do a lot of damage to his tyres. If we'll see him come into the pits, I dare say he'll probably just push it through.
Yeah, it's a bit early to pit now, I think, unless you commit to the 3-stop, which you need a safety car to make work, given that there isn't as much tyre benefit that you'll get. You won't be able to gain any spots through that process. Pit lane's too long here to make any real gain out of it over the course of the stint. So unless there's a safety car, which at this stage the racing's been clean, so it'll be down to the unfortunate nature of hardware failures that might bring that undone, I would say. The racing's been great in the M series, so we haven't needed a safety car in a while. Dooley's just fallen off the back of Douglas and Nickel, so I wonder if Dooley is just losing some tyre life or is starting his fuel save to extend to make his last stint slightly shorter. That's really what we've got to wait for, is that critical lap, that critical pit stop time. Joe Mahoney has kept that gap sort of at around the 2nd mark, so he's being able to just do what he needs to do to keep Bradley Wall behind him, and he is kind of closing that gap to Troy Dooley. So Joe, I think he's doing well on his tyre management. He spoke at length in the Instant Shoot about interview that we did with him about how tyres are going to be a big thing and settling into the race and trying to keep it clean, trying to avoid the off tracks and that sort of thing will be important.
Speaking of off tracks, Mark Peck has just gone off track and dropped down to P12. Scotty Rattler Van Loon has managed to get past him, and so is Travis Daly. Rick having a great drive at the moment. Andrew Cow right on the back of him. These guys in good positions at the moment. Probably want to be a little bit closer with each other in case a mistake is made, so they can commit on it.
.30 seconds currently covers the field from 1st to 18th. It's 10 seconds back to Troy Sipple, just almost 11 seconds now back to Troy Sipple, who we see out of the front of, sorry, this is Reese going in front. Bradley John Clayton. For the, well, this is two PSR teammates going at it on the run into 15.
Made a little kiss there, Brad, on the way through, as Weston was just right on the back. Now Vigor's on the back of Weston.
Vigor will go for it here.
Is he close enough? He's really got to outbrake him in this situation.
He goes wide, can't cut it back quick enough, so line was just a little bit compromised under brakes there. Could take his normal line with how much he was gaining. I was talking a little bit earlier, probably about 5 minutes ago, about Tim Nicol and his pace, and as we jump to another battle further back through the field.
Bradley John Clayton has got round his teammate Reese to Goey.
Hey, what? Stephen's doing well to stay on the back of this as well. So
he's doing well
showing what he's made of.
Track. Doing much better in the 86s this season than he is the V8s. I think he isn't getting the practice in for the V8s this season as much as he would like. definitely doing a great job in the 86s.
Definitely a lot of scuffing on the side of Bradley John Clayton's door there on the driver's side. See where's the sponsor gone? Lots of scratching. So it's definitely had some contact. Jason Douglas has fallen off the back of Tim Nicol by a considerable margin. So
2 seconds.
although that's just closed back up to 1.6. So that's there's definitely some big margins there that are opening up. So
last lap time
Jason
for Nichols, 2:10.27. Last lap time for Douglas, 2:10.23.
So I think it was on this lap, maybe Jason had a little bit of a moment. But I think for Tim now, it's all about managing that gap. Save a bit of fuel, extend your stint out, avoid that that risky third stop that might end up happening.
19 minutes in, within the next 4 to 5 minutes, I do believe we will start seeing pit stops roll through.
We do. Sipple and Rattler Van Loon are both in.
Already in. Picked it at the start of the race between 18 and 24 minutes. I believe that's where the cars will start making their pit stops. Heck's in, DeGoey's in. That is going to shuffle the field around a little bit. Cowan sitting right on the back of Vigor. Wonder if Cowan's waiting for the first lot of pit stops. Oh, it's going to show the nose. Will take a bit of that curb. That has lost him a bit of speed there. Right in front, Weston on Wall. Is he going to finally make this move stick? He's been so patient so far. Got the inside line. Holds that beautifully. Gets a great run out of the corner.
Alt tab, please. We're back. The joys of casting by distance.
Joys of not having time to find out why my other screens aren't working.
Anyway, technical problems aside. Oh,
here we are.
3 Mustangs and a Commodore going at it. Cowie's got up the inside of Rick Vigor through all of that. Bradley Wall's run off track there though. Invites Scott Weston to come back at him. They're going to go side by side through turn 16, now 17, now 18.
And look who's right on the back of him.
Who's going to pit here? Who's going to dive in? Oh, Wall wants to. Side by side in the pit lane. And Cowie gets it. Gee whiz, Troy Dooley's come in as well. So he's come in from 3rd spot to pit. Nicol and Douglas, that gap's now back down to half a second. So Nicol is managing that gap, but by how much is he having to manage to either extend or is he trying to juke Jason Douglas into pitting first so Tim can get the maybe said the overcut will work for him just based on lap time, but I would have expected one of these two to pit to get the benefit of the undercut that we're expecting to see. We'll get an idea, I think, when Troy Dooley comes out and where he feeds into. Troy Dooley had a 3 second, almost a 3 second longer pit stop than Andrew Cowan. So Troy Dooley's dropped back down well behind Wall and Cowan, and Sipple's jumped them all. Sipple's up into what at the moment is 10th place. He's the first of our stoppers. So
that maximum pit lane time 58, nearly a full minute. No, yes, nearly a full minute.
Yep.
For some reason, I thought there was 100 seconds to a minute then. Oh dear.
Race control message on screen. Can't quite read what that says, ShiBBy.
Drive-through penalty for car 410. Contact causing disadvantage on lap 6. So that is car Scotty Rattler Van Loon.
Nickel and Douglas have both bitten the bullet and they're both in. Race off pit lane. That's what it will be.
Mahoney's in as well. Weston,
Yeah.
is he going to go in? No,
Weston
Weston's
stays
not,
out.
but Vigor is. So at the moment, Weston is your provisional P1, has not pitted yet. So Vigor went
the
in
actual
as well.
P1. The actual P1. Effective leader at the moment, I would say, still Tim Nickel. But we'll have to see where they all fan out.
Pavlovich, Clayton, a bunch just also pulled into the pits as well. Who's out first? Douglas actually is out first. No, Nickel's out first. Get out of the way, sign.
Nickel is out first.
Jason
Where
Douglas
does...
up behind him. Mahoney is out now, drops into 6th. Oh, nearly 3-1 through to turn 1.
So Wall and Cowan were going at it. And then Vigor came out of the pits. And Cowie had to defend from Vigor whilst also trying to attack Wall. So still to stop is Weston and Sinkovic. It's a good bit of fuel saving there from those guys. Will be tight to make it on one stop, but who knows? Of course, there's no mandatory pit stop in this series. There is only the fuel tank restriction that we put on. You can drop as much fuel as you want up to the mandatory, up to the fuel stop size. Fuel tank size, I should say.
Restriction tonight is 40%.
Which is pretty common for our races. That makes it so that, you know, it is a two-stop race over the 60 minutes. Weston's now in. I'd be expecting to see Sinkovic in as well in a little bit. See where Weston pops himself out, though. You look down the pit lane here.
Nichols is 20 seconds behind at the moment. So Weston actually got himself in a pretty good spot. But here they come round the final corner up the straight right now. There's Douglas and Nickel through. Sinkovic is in as well. Sipple will come through. Mahoney will come through.
So Sipple's got 2 lap older tyres than Joe Mahoney behind. 2 laps older than the 2 leaders as well. So he was one of our early stoppers. So the undercuts worked for Troy. Looking through the field, Troy Dooley stopped on lap 10 along with Cowan and Wall. So Wall couldn't capitalise on Joe Mahoney doing the undercut. Joe's actually closed the gap to Sipple as well to under a second. Good battle between Wall, Cowan and Vigor. That's within a second of there as well, this battle on screen. And then Weston and Dooley are close. Degoe and Pavlovich are close. And then Sinkovic and Nielsen are also close together. It's a basic run through of all the battles at the moment. Nickel and Douglas, that gap's just over a second at the moment. So that'll keep fluctuating as we go on. Just based on the strengths of the cars. Douglas has just run off track, so he's lost a little bit of time there. Just as I was talking about it. As we look, the run up to turn 12. Difficult given how deep everyone is braking at the moment to really find a benefit. With everyone being on very similar tyre strategies, it's making it interesting to say the least. From a racing point of view, I feel like you could even just go for one stop, but do it to a point where, you know, you can stop at 20 minutes and get home. That'd be a good little mix-up in terms of strategy. Might be something that, you know, give us your thoughts in chat. What would you like to see change a little bit from a viewing standpoint? Obviously, we can commentate, we can be excited at everything and tell you what's exciting, but it's you, the viewers at home, who are most important to us. This is now a 4-car battle, and I'll tell you what, Troy Dooley's not far off the back of it as well. The more these guys battle, the closer they'll get. Mahoney and Sipple are going at it, trading positions. As you can see, the timing board update. Running down through turn 2 into turn 3, Mahoney does get in front of Sipple. We'll get a quick replay of it. So Sipple's run wide. Mahoney stays narrow to give him a little bit of space to rejoin. Mahoney holds it around the outside. Wonder how much of that'll all be down to drive off the corner. Sipple wasn't quite as fast out of turn 1. Back to this battle at the front. Bradley Wall came up with an off track on my screen just for a second. Cowan looks up the inside, sends it from very narrow, gets the car stopped, turned, and is out. But Bradley Wall gets a better drive. Get on the power just a little bit earlier. Cowie goes defensive. Oh, he's gone side by side. I'm hoping we don't see something similar to what happened between I think it was Ocon and Alonso last year at the US Grand Prix. Very close together, nose to tail, this battle now. Can't separate these cars at the moment. As I said, Troy Dooley's surged his way onto the back of this pack as well, so 5 cars involved. There's 4 Mustangs and a Commodore. Cowie leading the pack at the moment. Jason Douglas just banged in the fastest lap of the race for 2-minute 9.83. So he's got some pace to burn, and he's finding it towards the end of his, you know, after a couple of laps on these tyres. So that's a good sign. Might open up the opportunities here for undercuts as well as we get towards the final stop of this race. Given the endurance of these tanks, I feel like we're going to probably see someone try and bite the bullet in the next 5 minutes or so. Come in, maybe try and find the benefit of the undercut. Drivers have to be aware that they have to come home with enough fuel to get back to pits. One of the rules of SRW is you need to get all the way back to pits at the end of the race after the checkered flag. Proper cool down lap procedure.
Penalty is rear of grid for the next race. We have spoken about this before, that if you have the opportunity to win a race but cop a rear of grid for the next one, in most cases, you're taking that win. I know I would be, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. It's a good penalty in the sense that it doesn't. It still allows people to race and to race hard for race wins, but you know, you can do that but disadvantage your next race. But being rear of grid in a field like this where it's all so tight, gee whiz. Tell you what, Pavlovich did not leave a whole lot of space, but he's run deep into the corner. Just to go, he's trying to look for a move. Can't quite get it done. Can't tighten up the apex enough. Tighten up the exit to get back at Petar Pavlovich. He seems to have good mid-corner speed at the moment. Seems to find a bit of time. through the apex, but car's got good drive and able to hold that position. Nicola and Douglas have matched fastest laps at the moment. But Cowan's trying to pull away from Bradley Wall and try and close that gap to Troy Sipley in front.
Sneaky Rabbit dropping in again, saying keep it up, Tim. I think Sneaky Rabbit has found his favourite driver for the night. The biggest movers and shakers so far. Andrew Cowan for Performance Sim Racing up 5 positions. The biggest shaker so far is Scotty Rattler Van Loon down 6 spots. Cowan having a phenomenal drive up into P5 right now. Managed to battle his way through Dooley, Western, Vigor and Wall. Dooley is now on the back of Western, who sort of sat there and trailed him so far all night. Bradley John Clayton is in the pits. Say Nichols really started pushing that gap out, but he can't just quite get away from Jason Douglas. He is second on his tail at this moment. Absolutely amazing racing here tonight for your simrigs.com V8 Supercars Amateur Series. Here for round 6. At Circus of the America, thanks to Warren and Brown Tools. Jason Douglas still hunting down Tim Nicol. We are over halfway into this race. And my pit stop time is still on the screen. Keep jumping back to this battle with Western Vigor. Wall has stretched out a gap between these three with Cowan now. So maybe they could actually work together and start pushing towards Sipple. It'd be in their best interest.
Just for the viewers at home, what are the drivers doing throughout the stint to manage tyre life and to manage the drivability of these cars as the fuel load burns off and as the tyres start to wear? These cars, unlike current Gen 3 cars, I say current, but I'll get to why it's only current at the moment. The Gen 3 Chevrolet and Mustang these cars have adjustable anti-roll bars. So essentially, it's a blade that controls the anti-roll bar and how much the car will roll. So if you think it's a flat blade like a knife, think a knife blade. When you rotate that knife blade, you don't get, when the knife blade's flat, it's very floppy and very flimsy. I think like a steak knife is very flexible. When you rotate that knife, you then can't push down on the blade. You don't have as much flexibility in that plane. So what the anti-roll bar does is it adjusts how much the car will roll, how much the body will roll on the suspension. And what that can actually do is control weight and balance the car so you can find more mechanical grip as the car loses tyre life and as the fuel load burns out. So a lot of these drivers will be softening the bars to make the car more compliant and respond nicer to steering inputs and balance changes whilst the tyres are starting to lose natural grip. Of course, those anti-roll bars, having them more or less stiffer generally is better for car speed because the aero works a little bit better, the car behaves more predictably, and you get the most out of your tyres early on. But these drivers will be looking to adjust that to try and make the cars a little bit nicer to drive, try and dial out some understeer that they get from worn tyres. It really just is all about balancing load on the car as we see. Geez, that's a ballsy move from Scott Weston to try and go up the inside into turn 3. That's hasn't quite paid off for him. But credit to Rick Vigor, who saw him coming, gave him the space, and then decided, no, you know what, I'm going to try and hang around the outside with you and try and make that move stick. But it's invited Troy Dooley back into the battle.
He's down 5 spots from where he started, so he's definitely going to want to try and get past these lads. Has been very patient tonight, though. Seems to be sitting behind Weston for majority of this race. He's definitely got the pace.
Doesn't want to sit there for too long. The other thing these drivers have at their disposal is adjustable brake bias. So like you would have in a GT3 or even, you know, your F3s or some of your other major official series, adjustable brake bias. They can adjust that forward and backwards. They'll be generally adjusting it forward throughout the stint, given that the fuel load is coming out. So you want to control more of the weight that's on the front axle throughout the stint. So they'll be slowly adjusting that potentially. That's really the only changes you can make to the car based on mechanical grip and how the car behaves and balance control. The rest of the stuff is all down to right foot on the throttle, left foot, right foot on the brake, whichever one you use, and just being a little bit more cautious in terms of
Wall,
grip.
Vigor, all in the pits. Dooley in the pits. Peck in the pits. The second round of pits are coming in now with 20 minutes left to go. That was a much shorter time between, so that was 18 minutes and then 40 minutes. So these guys are definitely going to try and get the race done on this last pit stop right now.
Yep, this is all about the undercut. That's all this is about. So watch for Bradley Wall and Rick Vigor to try and get some gain out of this. With the other drivers in front. What's happened to Tim Nicol? Tim Nicol's down into 5th.
Yeah, I just noticed that.
Tim's pitted.
He was in the pits.
So Tim has done the undercut and a half. He's popped down into 5th place. So we're going to look to see if Jason Douglas responds immediately or if he's going to stay out and try and nullify that undercut by running an overcut that will benefit him towards the end of the race. But I wasn't expecting to see Tim Nicol in that early, but obviously he's got to what he considers the critical lap, being the critical time that you can hit and make it home at the end. So Tim needs to make hay whilst the sun is still shining.
An interesting time to stop with 20 minutes to go. Might have been worth to push it that one more lap.
But strategically, that might have been a play to try and get Jason to pit.
To pit as well, yeah.
But Jason hasn't. So
Sipple's in now. Mahoney's going to continue on through. Cowan's in.
Interested to see how this plays out for Tim Nicol.
Havlovich in as well. Goey in. Van Loon in. The second run of pits are coming through. Still surprised Douglas has not made it into the pits yet.
I think this is this is definitely an overcut versus undercut strategy. Jason Douglas here, maybe trying to shorten this last stint, try and shorten the pit stop. Any little bit nullify the undercut benefit that Tim Nicol will have. Although Tim's only at 25 seconds, so it's not a whole lot of time. Oh, big correction under brakes. Rears are screaming for help right now for Jason Douglas. See how much oversteer he gets in the exit. No, keeps the rear under control on the exit. They're definitely chasing the car a bit through triple apex, right-hander in the last sector. Does he pit this time by? No, stays out. So the longer this goes on, the longer I think that Tim Nicol is in the box seat, because that gap was closed by a second, almost just a sector. So that was a 211.6 there for Jason. We'll have to wait almost half a minute for Tim Nicol to come across the line. That definitely looks like more of a handful for Jason now, just based on steering inputs alone. Trying to have a few bites, a few adjustments to the steering in the mid corner. Tim Nicol bangs in a 2-minute 9.8, so almost a full 2 seconds faster than Jason Douglas. So I feel like if Jason is going to win this race from here, it's got to be on his incredible pace through this last stint. Joe Mahoney, 2 minutes 11.9 around that last lap. He's only 6 seconds in front of Tim Nicol. So this is another one of those moments where Joe, I don't think he's going to have enough, because even with a pit stop, he's still probably going to be behind Scott Weston. So at the moment, obviously with these pit stops still to play out, it's looking like maybe another podium is going, unfortunately a podium is going begging for Joe. Started on P2 this race. The gap's up to 17 seconds to Jason Douglas, so there's a long way to make up without a safety car. Keep our eyes on where Jason Douglas is. If he's going to pit this lap, here's Tim Nicol. That gap's down to 4.8 seconds now. So Tim really hammering home his advantage. Jason Douglas is in.
With Mahoney coming through now, he is going to get around him.
Joe hasn't pitted either. So this is an interesting call. This is really extending the stint, trying to play out for a safety car.
Going one more. Let's have a look at the pit stop stints, hey?
So Tim Nicol has jumped Jason Douglas through that sequence. Just Tim's hammered home a 9.69 lap time. He's now got 6.5 seconds, give or take, over Jason Douglas. That's a massive benefit through that undercut. 2 laps longer on a stint of tyres, though. It's a big gap for Jason Douglas to make up when Tim's banging home 2-minute 9.7s.
Right now, this is where he needs to put that pace in and get away from Douglas. Mahoney, though, I dare say, is going to be running low on fuel. He's going to have to make the decision soon.
I think he's got to pit this lap.
He's going to have to. He's pushed it 2 laps further. He is not fuel saving either. He is still gunning it.
He's gone 4 laps further than Tim Nicol has.
Oh, and you can see those rear tyres really starting to struggle as well. There's Tim Nicol just in the background. is Mahoney going to do? He's going to have to pit. There's no way he has fuel for the end of this race.
Yep, he's in.
So this is going to be interesting to see where he comes out. It's a minute. Nearly a minute pit lane time.
You know who hasn't stopped either is Scott Weston. To be fair, he did 12 laps on that opening stint, but he hasn't pit. Oh, he's in now.
Oh, he's in now.
So where does Joe Mahoney pop out? Can he get out in front of Troy Sipple?
Oh, a bit of contact.
Oh, no.
Taylor and Peck
Peck
there have managed to stop right on the edge of the exit of the corner. Mahoney is still in third. He's leaving now. Sipple's got around him. Cowan's on his way.
You know what? He's got 3 lap fresher tyres than Sipple.
Could have
Is
been
that going to be enough
really
for
clever
the next
play.
12, or almost only 10 minutes of this race left? Will that be enough benefit for him to close that gap to Sipple? It's 3 seconds at the moment. 3 lap pressure tyres. And he's got the carrot dangling in front of him. Sipple did a 2-minute 12.18 on his last lap. Joe Mahoney's fast is a 2-minute 10.6.
Taylor in the battles again tonight. Peck looks like to have lost at the rear of that Mustang. It is going to allow Brett Taylor to get through. Pavlovich is going to get around as well. Going to put Pavlovich on the back of Brett Taylor. Mahoney's on the top of Sipple. He's closed that gap by 2 seconds. Nope, my SDK just had a hissy fit. Nope, sorry, it's wrong.
Cowan's on the back of Mahoney.
Yeah. This is going to be very interesting. Mahoney's not going to want to battle Cowie. He's going to want to try and get away from Cowie and get on top of Sipple.
Podium's there for him. Does Mahoney have the pace to catch Sipple? 9 and a bit minutes, or just under 9 minutes remaining in this race. Does he have enough? He's taken half a second out, give or take, on that lap alone. I think this is the lap now. This is the lap where he asserts that dominance with his tyre strategy. 3 laps newer tyres compared to Sipple. Wall and Weston are going at it. Weston's right on the back of Wall though as well. So that's 4 lap better tyres.
Cowie with a big slide through the S's there right in front of him. That was
Cowie's dropped almost 3 seconds on Mahoney. Is that the breather that Mahoney needed as well? No threat from behind now. Now he can just be eyes forward, chasing after Sipple.
Weston is not going to let Wall get away.
I'll tell you what, Douglas has closed that gap too. That's at 3 seconds now for the lead. So that gap has come right down.
Keeping an eye on that gap as Weston shows the nose. Doesn't think he's close enough, but we have seen some good overtakes on this corner tonight. All getting a bit of a better run out of that corner, but Weston is right back on top. See the 2 different lines. Oh! Did Weston overcommit to that? He hasn't. He's managed to keep that gap there. You can Hear the tyres screeching and screaming his way as they throw these heavy cars into these corners. Goey, Peck, side by side. Cowan's off track. Cowan's off track. No, he was off track. He must have made a small mistake. These boys are closing in on Cowan now as well. Weston showing the nose again.
Mahoney took a second out of Sipple that lap.
1.5 seconds between Mahoney and Sipple now.
Brett Taylor's got a drive-through penalty for contact, causing a disadvantage on lap 22. That'll be the contact with Brett Taylor. Sorry, Brett Taylor, the contact with...
Was it DeGoey? No, it was Peck. One missing the rear wing. He's into the pits now, and so is DeGoey. Weston is just pushing wall. Cowan's managed to pull a bit of a gap again, even after that slight mistake. It shows that these two here battling is just letting Cowan breathe.
Mahoney's under half a second. Could see them up ahead. Here we go. Under brakes into turn 12.
This is for P3 with less than 5 minutes to go. Mahoney for Race on Oz, wanting another podium finish to continue his consistent driving this season. Does have a serious contender in front of him of Troy Sipple.
Joe's trying to upset the Pecky's party with two Pecky's cars on the podium at the moment in P1 and P3. Where is Joe stronger?
I'm going to say in the steering aspect. I have no idea, mate. He's definitely quick. He's closing the gap very quickly. Nearly a second faster.
Is he stronger through this second sector, through the S's? Is that where he finds his benefit in terms of having fresher tyres, which that benefit is reducing now as he gets closer to the back of Sipple? Looks like Joe can place the car more with where he wants it. Yeah, you can see how close he gets through the Estes section.
Wow, much smoother and great exit there to put him right on the back of Sipple.
Just not quite enough space to go for the move there. Decides to tuck back out. Going to try and get the run out of the corner. He's got a better drive. He's going to have the slipstream down the back straight. Sipple should go defensive. He does. Parks at the middle of the track. Stays in the middle of the track. Forces Joe onto the dirty line on the inside. Joe decides to bail out of it. His opportunities are decreasing though. Joe's adjustment of line made him lose a lot of time there though.
Yeah, dropped right back. 0.6 of a second when he was right on the top of him. Can see he's definitely looks smoother through the corners though. He gathered that time back up so quick. This will be green racing to the finish. No safety car tonight. A phenomenal show of driving from our simrigs.com. V8 Supercars AM drivers here tonight.
I think Barney's waving.
Is Barney waving? Is he doing his job? Is it white flag? He's not waving yet. I dare say, though, as Tim Nicol comes round, we may see Barney It's a bit of an odd one, Barney. Sometimes he ducks off to the pie shop, grabs a pie and a beer and forgets that he's on shift. Tim Nicol with a 2.3 second lead over Jason Douglas. Mahoney just showed the nose, thought he was going to make the move. Not the greatest corner to try and make an overtake on.
I think his opportunity comes at the end of the back straight.
He has to commit to a move.
I feel like that's his only opportunity. He doesn't get the drive out of the corner. Doesn't get the drive out of the turn. Weston's going to go for a move up the inside.
And he'll get the run out of the corner.
Really though, no, Wall gets the better drive out of the corner. Weston hasn't ducked back in for the slipstream. Now he has.
Waited a long time to get back in behind Wall then.
Mahoney can't get him.
No, it's stretching out. It's stretching out. Whereas Nichols coming around now. Will we see Barney with that white flag?
It's one more.
There it is, white flag. This is the last lap tonight. Jason Douglas has managed to close that gap down to 1.7 seconds. Weston still wanting to get past Wall. All these points matter.
That means Mahoney has another chance.
He's still 0.6 off the back of him though.
But we know
Needs
how
to
strong
get
he is
closer.
through the chicane, or through the S's.
Cowan has had a breath of fresh air, hasn't he? Sitting in 5th place with Sipple and Mahoney battling and Wall and Weston battling. Cowan's been able to just sit there. Weston on the back of Wall again. Up the inside, heavy on the brakes, makes the mistake.
Locks up. Keeps it out of the grasp, but I think that's the first error we've seen tonight in the race.
Apart from
Going
a few
into
small ones here and there, but that is the first big lock-up to really cause some issues.
Sipple back on Mahoney. Mahoney back on Sipple, I should say. Mahoney bides his time. He knows he's strong on the kink. He knows he's strong through 10. Sipple's going to go defensive. Joe's going to try and take the better line through this corner. Force Sipple to run it deep. Mahoney with the drive. Suck back in with the slipstream here. Let's try and get that benefit. He's going to go for a move. I think this is his best opportunity. He needs to go for the move up the inside. He's going to go outside. Later on the brakes. Can he pull it up?
Try and cut it in behind him. No. Oh, and he got a bit squirrely.
Try and find a benefit here.
He's running out of options. Checkered
Too tight.
flag. Tim Nicol is over the line. Jason Douglas as well.
We go for a move.
Oh, no.
It's contact. He redresses. Doesn't quite get the move done, but he decides to just pull it back in behind, go for another attack. Cowie's right on the back of it too, so if one of these guys makes a mistake.
Cowie slips through to 3rd. I think they're going to final corner now. What a battle to the end as all 3 cars rear ends get loose. What a race. Replay of your race winner tonight. Tim Nicol from Pecky's Quantum Performance. So, oh my gosh, I can't see it. Quantum's Pecky's Performance Racing.
Sim Racing.
Yeah, that's it. As he comes across the line to take P1, Jason
Jumps at
Douglas.
Daly and Pavlovich.
Pavlovich, Daly, battling it out to the end. Pavlovich is going to sneak through. 6 positions up. Can he hold this all the way to the line? He's going to. I am putting Petar Pavlovich Name down for driver of the day. Up 6 positions, and every time we jumped to him, he was battling and battling clean. What do you think, Preech? It's a hard call. There's been so many good drivers on track tonight.
It is a hard call.
What a finish. Joe Mahoney just couldn't get Sipple. Sipple did a great job defending those last 2 laps. Phenomenal.
Bit of contact, bit of rubbings racing at turn 15. It was nice and fair. Mahoney went for the move, tried to make it stick. Couldn't quite get the full car up the inside. Contact was made. But good, fair racing in the end. Mahoney decided to back out of it and let Sipple run ahead. And Mahoney wasn't going to have it up. Just wasn't able to get up far enough heading into the last corner to really go for a move to race it to the line.
Sneaky Rabbit is pretty stoked that Tim Nichols has taken the win tonight. Bunch of yes
Tim, you've got a new favourite fan.
Does. May have something to do with having the same name.
Nah, surely not.
Great drive from everybody out on track tonight, mate. These AM series are just getting better and better every week. It doesn't matter where we look, there is battles left, right, and center. And sometimes it's even hard to pick who's going to be in the top 3. Whole field together doing the cool down lap. So good to see. Well done, Mahoney. Unlucky, mate. Great drive, though. We will get our podium drivers lining up.
Joe finishes third.
We finished third?
Joe Mahoney. Race control just popped up with a message.
Where?
On the screen. Race control. It's just disappeared.
Joe finishes third. I wonder if there was something in that contact with Sipple and Mahoney. We need some more insight on what's happened there. This is Mahoney and Sipple battling towards the finish line. Ooh. Has Sipple closed him off so far that it hasn't allowed him racing line?
Troy Sipple didn't serve a slowdown at the last the last corner.
Troy received a slowdown penalty last turn, so maybe it was because of that incident.
No, he went 4 wheels across the curb. That's a slowdown.
Oh,
because he couldn't
he's got an
Joe Mahoney
iRacing
brings home-
slowdown.
Yes.
And he didn't take it.
Well, there's no opportunity to.
Oh, you're right. Look at that. The whole car is off the track.
Oh, it's a game of inches sometimes.
I would love to get a better angle of this. I'm going to have to do the old rear chase cam. Just so we can get a look as he comes around this corner. And just see how far off track. Oh no, that's off track. That's definitely off track. Mahoney sneaks through with a small mistake made by Sipple and will take P3 tonight. And we're only just talking about that it's hard to pick who's going to be in the top 3. And something like that can change it all. The results are locked in for your simrigs.com V8 Supercars Amateur Series here for round 6 at Circuits of the America, thanks to Warren and Brown Tools. Tim Nickel from Quanti Peckham's Performance Racing will be your round winner. Jason Douglas from LMR Esports in second place. Joe Mahoney for Race on Oz in third. Following them will be Andrew Cowan, Bradley Wall, Scott Weston, Troy Dooley, Rick Vigar, Scotty Rattler Van Loon, Troy Sipple, Petar Pavlovich, Travis Daly, Brett Taylor, Travis Nielsen, Reese DeGoey, Steven Sinkovich, Mark Peck, and Bradley Clayton.
That penalty for Sipple dropped him down from 3rd to 10th.
Because he didn't bleed it off before the end of the race, he actually copped an extra 40-second penalty on top.
Gee whiz.
Ouch to Sipple. Unlucky. What a great race, though. He can't feel too bad about that. Right, we do have our drivers in the green room awaiting us. We will start with, of course, P3. Mr. Joe
Hello
Mahoney.
again.
Mate, how funny is that? Well, it's not funny for Troy, but wow, oh wow.
Oh, I'm lucky. It was, yeah, that's just a tough track for that. He really wasn't. Anywhere else he would be fine. It just happens to be here he's being pinged like that. I didn't even think he was that far across to the left, but
he was 4 wheels inside the second white line.
Oh right, well then fair enough then.
Yeah, we got a front cam look just to see just how far off, and it was very clear that the whole car was off the track. So it was great. Great battle between you and Sipple for majority of the night, mate. You had your car all over the place, battles all night, mate. It was a phenomenal drive. The pressure was definitely on out there tonight, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. I started fuel saving. First time ever. How's that? Ended up pitting one of the last ones, so I'll take that out of it. There was a lot going on. I stuffed the start and just bogged it down, and my whole sequence of getting off the line was mucked up. And yeah, got swamped by those guys. It was a little bit tough start to get past those guys, and by then Tim and Jace had taken off into the distance and continued to build on that. I just settled in and decided to have a crack at trying to save as much fuel as I could, and it kind of worked. But when you finish 30 seconds or whatever it was behind the lead, the 2 lead guys, it doesn't quite add up. But it was still good though. It was a great battle with Troy. He definitely made it hard. I had to throw it up the inside of those last couple of corners. I was probably up far enough, I thought, but play on. And yeah, that was. I'm pretty happy to get on the podium after all that.
Yeah, it was definitely a close race throughout. Your fuel saving really put you in a position to really challenge Sipple after he pulled off a very strong undercut on you, and you managed to have the tyres to catch him. I was watching your lap times, and it looked like the first lap after that final stop, you were just sort of settling in, bring your tyres up, and then you really started flying and were, almost a second, maybe even a bit more faster per lap, and you're on the back of him in no time. But sucks that you couldn't make the move stick on track. It was a good battle. You were definitely stronger through the S's section, and I was really keen to see exactly where you'd make the overtake. And it looked like turn 11 was going to be your best spot, that back hairpin, but you just couldn't get up far enough.
I had the wrong gear ratio, so I kept hitting the limiter down that back straight. So I couldn't. There was no way I was going to be able to catch him. But it also helped me being quicker through the twisty bits, and definitely tyre life through that last bit. I did catch him a second a lap for a couple of laps. There was really only going to be 2 spots that I could pass him. Yeah, the end of that 3. The right-hander as you go up the hill to get onto the straight before the back hairpin.
Yep.
That hairpin, and then the other hairpin as well. That was probably the only spots I was going to be able to get him. And it would have needed a fair lunge from me at that first spot. And I kind of went for it once, but then backed out of it when I kind of saw that he wasn't going to, he was going to turn in pretty, hold his line as he's allowed to. And I wasn't going to risk that after that. It was just to get close enough to him to have a crack at the hairpin. But even then, he was much better under brakes, and I was not confident braking at all tonight to be able to really throw it in there.
Yeah, mate. Well, it was a cracking race in the end, and it was good to see a whole lot of action at the end. Where are we off to next week? I feel like it's we're off to Watkins next week. So a track that I know is very, very fun in supercars, the boot layout, and it's a sprint round. So have you done much running at Watkins in the supercar? And if so, do you think you can get on the top step?
I need to go and buy it. That's as much running as I've done on it in anything, and that's going to be the same for each of the tracks for the rest of the season. So it'll be, I'll actually go and buy it right now and run some laps on it. I was actually supposed to work tonight, and the client allowed me to start later so that I could get this race in. So thank you to them.
Dedication to the cause, mate. That's a very, very, very nice.
You've got to appreciate it when work lets you feed your sim racing bug. They're accommodating to it.
Yeah. Look, mate, well done. I'll give you a chance to thank who you need to thank.
Yeah, thank you, JTIT, Analytical, BE Electrical, Gutter Night, Pagny Advanced Simulation, the Gamesman, Selby Acoustics, and the Race on Oz team for all their help. And thank you to SRW. Thank you to you guys for the broadcast. Look forward to looking back on this one, see what other battles happened throughout this race. And you guys are doing a quality job here and looking forward to it. Thanks, guys. See you later.
No problem.
Thanks, mate. If you are going to watch it back, watch back the last 5 minutes or so. You weren't the closest finish throughout the field. There was one that was 1.5 tenths at the line. So there's a battle there that you should definitely go and watch at. Pavlovich and Daly ran it to the line. So I think Pavlovich got the move done on the last lap in the last sector. So
that's awesome. Cool.
Definitely worth watching, mate. Well done, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you, guys. See you later.
See you, mate. I'm losing my voice a bit. As we move on from P3, that was Joe Mahoney from Race on Oz onto P2. This will be Jason Douglas from LMR Esports. Jason.
Hello.
Welcome in.
Thank you.
Mate, P2 tonight.
Yeah, I wanted P1, but a bit more laps and it would have been alright.
I think everybody might have wanted P1 tonight. It was a bloody good race from top to bottom, mate. There was battles all over the place. How did you feel you handled the pressure of especially drivers like Nickel, Sipple and Mahoney on you tonight?
Pretty easy. You just don't look in the rear vision mirror and eyes forward. And just pretend that they're not behind you.
Just pretend they're not behind you. just turn off rear view mirrors and just forget anybody's there.
Yep, that's it.
Right, is there anything with COTA, especially with the way the corners are set up, that sort of helped you keep that pace you were keeping around the track tonight?
No, it was just basically how you respond to the throttle and basically just keep in your mind lap after lap, just keep doing the same gear changes and same lines and keep the momentum and you'll be right.
Just keeping it consistent as much as possible. Is there much to these V8s when it comes to throttle control off the corner? Because a lot of viewers probably don't know how twitchy these things are. You know, you can push an extra 2% and then the rear end kicks out. So is there a trick to trying to keep sort of the difference between getting the grip down and running it fast, or, you know, the rear end sliding out?
So with the rear end sliding out, depends how your tyres are and how much throttle percentage you put in. And it also depends on your setup as well. So yeah.
Well, mate, it was a great race. You definitely had a strong lead for a while, and then a couple of changes in pit strategies. It seemed like there was 3 different pit strategies across the field tonight, and just didn't pay off for you tonight, buddy. But again, congratulations for another podium finish and a P2 tonight. A great run in the top 10 and qualifying as well, mate. And the mic is all yours to shout out your sponsors.
So thanks, ShiBBy. I'd like to thank Lodge Bros. Dubby is an energy brand. An energy drink brand, should I say. NZ Performance, Wayne Boylett Mechanicals, Lutzu Driver Performance, Oakmez Photograph, Majors Garage, JM Designs, and all the boys at Alamar.
Well done, mate. Great to see you out there and battling your way through the field and claiming another podium, mate. So we look forwards to seeing you out on track again next week, mate.
Yeah, thank you. I hope I can do it again, but see what happens.
We'll keep up that consistency in that car, buddy, and you'll be able to do it again, no problems at all.
Yeah, thank you, and thanks for Jet to cheering me on and just telling me to go eyes forward, even though he couldn't spot footer me in night. He was just watching the live stream and just telling me eyes forward. And yeah, so thanks, Jet.
That's the way to do it, mate. Good to have a supportive team, mate. So congratulations again, and go out and do some celebrating with your team, mate.
Wish I could.
School tomorrow?
Yeah. No, I got uni tomorrow,
Uni.
so.
Well, uni school, yeah. Well, mate, go and get some bloody rest and yeah, study hard.
Yeah, I've got a couple of assignments to do, but I'll do them probably after this. So yeah.
Yeah, I'll do them tomorrow sometime.
Yeah, when I'm at uni, yeah, probably.
All right, mate. Congratulations, buddy, and yeah, go get some rest.
Yeah, no,
Well done, mate.
thank you. Thanks for that.
All right, from P2, that was Jason Douglas for LMR Esports. On our way to P1 is our winner tonight, Mr. Tim Nichols from Quantum Pecky's Performance Racing. Fucking hell.
How you going, guys?
Oh no, I swore on stream, sorry. Good, mate.
How you going, Tim? Well done, mate. Bring home P1 this week. Great job. I will say off the bat, your pit strategy got us all surprised. That seemed like a very early stop, but I figured you'd know how much fuel you needed to get home and what the latest you could stop, and seemed to pay off for you. Just
we were talking about it sort of in our obviously race channel with the other team guys, and we just went, you need 25 litres to get to the end, and I was just looking down at how much fuel, and I was like, I'm just going to pit and I'm going to have a crack at a couple of really fast laps, and hopefully that gets me across the line and then just hang in there. But I'll tell you what, those last 3 or 4 laps from Jace, that had me worried. He was coming at 1,000,000 miles an hour.
yeah, I bet, mate. It looked.
He was closing that gap extremely quick, especially on pushed out tires. Like, we were sort of stunned how quick like 8 seconds turned to 3 seconds. We were just like, where did that come from? But then we were keeping an eye on your pace, mate, and you just kept that 3 seconds gap long enough to once that white flag went, you knew you had that in the bag.
Yeah, well, it's funny. I sort of backed off after I did those couple of laps, and I realised there was about a 6 or 7 second gap, and I was like, just chill out, just save the tyres and go. And then I was like, oh, it's 4 seconds. Oh, I better put the foot down again. And then it's like, no, I'm not growing that gap. And I was like, just concentrate, don't lock it up. And then I think I locked it up into turn 1, and I was like, oh, this is starting to unravel for me. Just stay calm. But yeah, it's like the sweat started. I was like, oh man, this is good. This is good. But the first laps I enjoyed totally with Jace, that side-by-side battle to try and get the position. That was good. Hopefully that was enjoyable to watch.
Mate, the AMs are becoming my favourite series this season to produce and commentate for. You guys are just putting on one heck of a show from P1 down to P19, P20. And the battles are phenomenal. Everybody races very fairly and cleanly, and no, mate, it was awesome to watch. Oh my god,
it's a late night for you boys.
It's a late night for me nearly every night, mate. Jeez Louise, but yes, no, it was a great.
You guys are doing an awesome job.
It was a great race, mate. You raced phenomenally well. It was so good to see the battles out there as we are watching on screen right now with you chasing down Jace Douglas, mate. You had some awesome support out there in the chat as well tonight. You've also grabbed yourself a new #1 fan on our YouTube channel.
Oh, yeah.
Sneaky Rabbit has been cheering on Tim all night. And
wow.
Yeah.
The old Stinky Rabbit.
Sneaky,
Jeez.
not stinky.
Oh,
sneaky.
Stinky Rabbit.
Stinky Rabbit.
maybe at times it could be a bit stinky.
He is a 16-year-old boy, so yeah, it probably does get a bit stinky sometimes.
Oh, jeez.
Sorry, Tim, not you, Tim. So Sneaky Rabbit's my son, and his name is Tim as well. So,
oh, there you go.
So he was cheering you on all night. The name definitely locked it in for him.
Well, I hope I represented well, Tim.
Yeah, he was pretty impressed. So
yeah,
he just said, good. "Wow, you calling him Stinky Rabbit? That's hilarious."
Not funny.
Wow.
I'm gonna be calling. I'm gonna be messaging him every day saying, "Morning, Stinky Rabbit." Now, so.
Sorry, Tim. My bad. I can tell you what, it was a nice little victory because I don't know if anyone else follows some of the racing I do, but we raced on Sunday at Montreal, and 2 laps in, I was had a really good qualifying and binned it into the wall of champions on the 2nd or 3rd lap. It was all over, so I was happy to have a bit of a victory tonight to feel a bit better going through the week.
Is that streamed on your like personal page, or is there a league or something that streams that racing for you?
Yeah, that's a NTE series sponsored by Shannon's, and that's a SimSpeed TV
awesome.
Production. Yeah, but that's got Warboys and Coleman will keep you honest. I tell you that.
Oh yes, definitely, mate.
Yeah. Well, that's what happened to me. I was like, I'm either going to get absolutely undercut into the chicane by Coleman, because I funnily enough found myself in front of him in qualifying, and I was either going to send it or I'm going to stuff up and put it into the wall, and the second option happened to me. It's like pressure, absolute pressure.
It does get to you, mate. It does get to you. And that is racing. And the more you get put under pressure, the better you get at calming your nerves whilst under that pressure, mate. And I think you've shown that tonight, and a well-deserved P1 tonight for the Peckies Performance Racing team, mate. So congratulations again. And it's your turn to take the mic away from us and shout out all the sponsors that keep you on track.
Cheers, guys. Big shout out to Race Control, SRW, you guys that produce it, my teammates, Quantum Tint Solutions, Peckies Performance and Dino Tune, Dan Norris from West Oz Roof Restorations, And one of my long-time supporters, which is PBE Projects in Darwin, they do a lot of work out regional remote, but they were one of the first supporters that got on the back. A bit of a shout out to them. But yeah, happy days. Thanks, guys. Much appreciated. And also, yeah, congrats to Podium and Joe. Sips is not going to be a happy boy missing out on third.
No, was his
Well, no,
mistake.
Joe got
though.
it.
Yeah, was Sip's fault.
Yeah.
We did look back at that. The car was clearly completely off the track around the final corner, so the pressure of Mahoney on the back of him has forced that mistake, and unfortunately it also dropped him down into 9th place because he copped a 40-second penalty for not taking his slowdown.
We let Joe into our Discord last night. Maybe he might not be in there anymore.
It does be like that sometimes, doesn't it?
It does. Cool. Thanks, guys. Much appreciated.
Well
see you next
done
week.
tonight,
Well done,
Tim.
mate. We'll see you next week at Watkins.
Cheers. See you, boys.
Well, Thomas, what a phenomenal race for our simrigs.com V8 Supercars AM series here, round 6 at Circuit of the Americas, thanks to Warren and Brown Tools. So many ups and downs and phenomenal battles tonight. If you have not followed this AM series, go and check back on our YouTube. Every single race from this season is there for you to watch, plus many other series that we broadcast and put on for your viewing pleasure, and of course for the drivers' racing pleasure. Is there anything you would like to say before we sign off tonight, Preech?
Mate, it's always a pleasure to commentate with you on the AM series. I'm absolutely loving these guys. Sending it out every week, sending it as hard as they can, as fast as they can, and giving us some awesome racing from lights to flags. So I will very eagerly wait for next Tuesday at Watkins Glen for our sprint round. That will be balls to the wall. Absolute incredible racing, so I'm very keen.
Oh yes, Watkins does put on some phenomenal driving, and if the AMs keep up the driving they did tonight, it's going to be a race you guys don't want to miss. So make sure you like, subscribe, hit that bell to be notified of every time we go live 5 nights a week here on SRW TV. I have been Nathan ShiBBy Howard. The man beside me has been Thomas Preech Riley. We are signing off tonight saying stay safe and race hard.